able to use K9 asset to also track.
Sergeant James Lawson says the child does respond to his name. Indy was last seen wearing a black shirt, green shorts, and no shoes. The African-American boy is about 3 feet tall and around 45 pounds. Authorities do not suspect foul play. Amanda Moyer, 95.5 WSB.
It is 54 degrees right now in Midtown Atlanta. A little cloudy today, but it is getting warm. Highs around 80. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. A Cherokee County jury finds 2 men guilty of burglary after deliberating for only 20 minutes. 37-year-old Randolph Bush and 36-year-old William Morgan found guilty of breaking out a window of a home on Shoal Creek Road in broad daylight and then taking guns, jewelry, and a safe with thousands in cash inside, as well as landscaping equipment. The two pawned some of the items at a local pawn shop, and they were identified by Canton police through fingerprints. They'll be sentenced at a later date. There is death and destruction in Asia this morning after Myanmar and Thailand are hit by a magnitude 7.7 earthquake. This man was in a shopping center just outside Bangkok when he felt the powerful tremor.
Immediately there was screaming, there was a lot of panic. I just started walking calmly at first, but then the building started really moving.
Hundreds are feared dead in Myanmar. 3 people died after the collapse of a high-rise building under construction in Bangkok. The woman convicted of killing Mexican-American singer Selena 30 years ago will remain in prison. A Texas parole board denies parole for Yolanda Saldivar.
Selena's husband and her family did share a statement supporting this decision to deny parole. They said in part, quote, "While nothing can bring Selena back, this decision reaffirms that justice continues to stand for the beautiful life that was taken from us and from millions of fans around the world."
Karen Waugh reports the board agreed releasing Saldivar would pose a threat to public safety. She can request parole again in 5 years in 2030. Major changes could be coming to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms.
A source familiar says there's a memo circulating inside the Department of Justice about a plan to possibly streamline and merge the ATF with the Drug Enforcement Administration.
Scott McFarland reports the memo did not detail how the agencies would be combined or if any workers would be laid off. Inflation last month remained at the same pace as it did the month prior, according to this morning's report from the Commerce Department. It shows consumer prices are up 2.5% from last February. Excluding the volatile food and energy categories, prices rose 2.8% compared to a year ago. That was 2.7% in January. Your next trip to downtown Atlanta might not end with your car being booted.
A surprise move under the Gold Dome Thursday as lawmakers in the state Senate overwhelmingly vote to implement new restrictions on booting vehicles in downtown parking lots.
This is a bill that would regulate, not ban, booting of cars. The 2 basic regulations are already in code. They are in the towing section.
The bill would prohibit the monitoring of parking lots by booting companies and would ban kickback fees to lot landlords. It now has one more vote in the House before it heads to the governor's desk to be signed into law. Michelle Wright, 95.5 WSB.
It's 9:03. The Mark Arum Show begins in less than 2 minutes. But first, it's time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Triple Team Traffic with Smile and Mark McKay.
All right, Austin, we have a red alert leaving Hartsfield-Jackson Airport heading north on I-85. Live look at the jam cam. No traffic is moving or allowed past Cleveland Avenue on I-85 northbound, or crews doing some emergency road work up near the area near Metropolitan Parkway and Highway 166. Again, traffic red alert out of East Point, 85 northbound, shut down north of Cleveland Avenue for right now. You can work your way over to I-75 to avoid those delays north of Hartsfield-Jackson. Big delays leaving Snellville toward the Big Rock. Ashley Frasca.
Travel advisory, they've been battling a brush fire on Highway 78 westbound at Memorial Drive, and now the brake lights begin back at East Park Place Boulevard. So do what you can working your way out of Gwinnett County to use Five Forks Trickham as your alternate. Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Partly cloudy today, highs in the upper 70s to low 80s, lows tonight in the upper 50s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, mainly dry, high 81. Rain showers and a few thunderstorms for Sunday morning, drying out in the afternoon, high 75.
It's 53 degrees in Union City, 53 in Woodstock, and 54 in Midtown Atlanta at 9:05. More news at 9:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Happy Friday, my friends. We absolutely made it through this crazy, crazy week. Welcome to the Mark Arum Show, and your gift from us to you on this Friday is perhaps this has a chance, friends, to be the greatest Mark Arum Show of all time. That's how excited I am to talk about this show today. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, we're going to go in-depth in D.C. Willie James Inman from CBS. The odd withdrawal of Elise Stefanik's nomination to be the UN ambassador. Obviously, we talked a lot about the New York Congresswoman a lot here on the show. Big stunning news yesterday that her nomination is going to be withdrawn. We're going to update that in just a couple of minutes. We've got the second family traveling to Greenland and not exactly getting a warm welcome. John Decker is going to join us after the news at 9:35. Amanda Knox is going to join us live at 10:20. 10 years ago yesterday, she had her murder conviction overturned in Italy. Remember that story? She's got a book out. Political analyst Stephen Lawson is going to join us live in studio at 10:35. So many political stories to talk about with Stephen, both locally, nationally, internationally. He's a great resource. He's going to join us live. And I don't know if you remember, I've been talking about this sporadically on the show for the last week or so. Last week, there was this big story that popped out of Egypt. And I am an archaeological fiend. I love everything to do, especially with biblical history. And there's a story that popped out from a couple of researchers in Italy. Really earth-shattering stuff that they use some sort of a radar to look under the three great pyramids in Egypt. And underneath them, they claim to have found some magnificently crazy things. These 8 pillars that go underneath the middle pyramid down to, and it looks like they're wrapped in coil. I mean, it's just like some crazy discovery. So I asked Deborah Green, the executive producer of the show, to get us an Egyptologist on, just to get some insight on this. And, you know, Deborah, I give her a task, she overachieves. She got the preeminent Egyptologist in the world booked on the show today, Dr. Zahi Hawass. He's been on everything. You've seen him on the History Channel, Smithsonian, everywhere. He is like the premier. He used to be in charge of the Egypt Archaeological. I mean, Deborah, I don't know how did you do that, by the way, Deborah?
As an Egypt fan and lover myself, as someone who's been obsessed with needing to see the pyramids in real life one day, there are people's names that I follow, and it was one of those things like, well, if I'm going to email this person and this person, why not try and shoot for this person too? And the fact that he responded, I fell out of my chair yesterday.
Yeah, I got word this morning because I was asking for this just to get this lady on Facebook that's been talking about it, and Deborah comes up with the dude. So he is going to join us. I have so many questions for him. I'm so excited. He's actually coming to Atlanta in June too. So very excited to talk to him. Just an amazing get. That's what we call in the business. An amazing get by Deborah Green. I do want to start with a couple of big stories. First off, the local story you heard report there, the missing boy in Lawrenceville. That is a story we are going to monitor here very, very closely on the Mark Arum Show. In case you just missed the news at 9, Gwinnett police searching for a nonverbal 5-year-old who disappeared near Lawrenceville. I'm assuming that nonverbal, he's on the spectrum somehow, right? That's become more and more commonplace to have nonverbal kids. But there's Gwinnett authorities currently searching around the 3400 block of Sweetwater Road near Lawrenceville for little Indy Bullock. Police say the boy jumped over the balcony of the family's apartment and wandered off. Police said they have conducted water searches of some of the ponds nearby and have aerial units searching for the boy. One of Indy's teachers said, quote, he is a very sweet, loving boy. He really is. Investigators say the boy is black, 3 feet tall, weighs about 45 pounds. Last seen wearing a black T-shirt, green shorts, did not have any shoes on. So, I mean, hopefully he's found okay. Obviously, it makes it more difficult to find him that he is nonverbal and only 5 years old. But that is a story we're going to continuously monitor here on 95.5 WSB. Again, if you see him in that Gwinnett County area, he's 5 years old, nonverbal, doesn't speak. He's black, 3 feet tall, weighs about 45 pounds. Last seen wearing a black T-shirt, green shorts, no shoes. So hopefully he is found safely. But again, we are going to provide updates throughout the day here on 95.5 WSB. Also, a big international story we're going to follow. That's the sound of a 7.7 magnitude earthquake in Myanmar. It caused that high-rise under construction to collapse. Thailand has issued a state of emergency in Bangkok where tremors from the earthquake were felt 1,200 miles away. This is a woman who felt the tremors in Bangkok.
I was checking a message on my mobile phone. I was in my lazy boy, and all of a sudden it moved back and forth, and then it toppled over.
There's also been an aftershock of 6.4 that struck Myanmar. 3 people died there after a mosque collapsed right in Ramadan as well, and the death toll is expected to rise. Myanmar's ruling military says many civilians were killed and injured. Again, the quake happened in Myanmar, 7.7, which is a massive quake, and it was felt all the way in Bangkok, Thailand. 3 people have died in Thailand. 81 people believed to be trapped under the rubble of that under construction high rise in the city. So a couple of big stories we're going to follow there, one locally, one internationally. We've reached out to some correspondents in Asia to join us and bring us the latest on that. I mean, there's just nothing you can do about earthquakes, right? Mother Nature, just absolutely nothing you can do about that. So updates throughout the day here on 95.5 WSB. I mentioned I wanted to go in depth on Elise Stefanik, the New York Congresswoman, who was nominated to be our ambassador to the United Nations. Breaking news yesterday, the nomination withdrawn. Joining us live from D.C. from CBS News, Willie James Inman. Willie, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Hey there. Good morning to you.
I'd kind of forgotten about her nomination. You know, President Trump, after the Matt Gaetz withdrawal, really had no problems getting all his nominees confirmed. And then we got slammed with the breaking news yesterday that the nomination for Stefanik has been withdrawn. Do we have any idea why that nomination was taken back?
Yeah, the president alluded to this a little bit in his Truth Social post yesterday. He essentially talked about the need for every Republican seat in Congress. You have to keep everyone there because they have that slim majority. Let's remember that slim majority in the House of Representatives. And oftentimes there are some Republicans who don't necessarily toe the party line and vote against legislation. So they need every vote that they can get. And so that is part of the reasoning and the calculus here behind the White House pulling this nomination. You mentioned we have been waiting for this nomination to come about. Part of the reason why is because there's a special election, in fact, special elections, one to replace Matt Gaetz, who you mentioned, and the other to replace Mike Waltz, who is the president's national security advisor in Florida next week. And there will, of course, have been a special election to replace Elise Stefanik, an election to replace her. So there's a lot of things up in the air, and the Republicans don't want to take any chances there, including the president, with that, as he describes it, a very tight majority there in the House.
Well, I mean, with all due respect, Willie, what was President Trump not aware of the slim majority in Congress? I mean, I mentioned when these nominations came out, like pulling 3 Republican members out of Congress, Stefanik, Gaetz, and as you mentioned, Waltz, like that's a risky move, knowing how tight, how slim that majority is. Did President Trump just realize that, oh no, this could switch the balance of power?
Yeah, I think it's certainly something that the White House was aware of. The president was aware of as well, but we've seen those votes. Simply it's just a razor thin margin. And let's remember, the president wants to get a huge reconciliation package through Congress. That would essentially be passed through party lines, both in the House and the Senate. They don't need Democratic votes to pass that legislation. But still, there are other parts of his agenda that he'll need every Republican vote that he can get. And this is part of that. Perhaps there's a little bit of cold feet, I guess you could say, in terms of their ability to, or just the thinking behind maintaining that majority. So one of the ways in doing that is say, hey, we have a guaranteed person if we don't have Stefanik step down. We don't have to have an election there. Should we save that seat? The other seats, of course, are up for debate because there's a special election there in Florida next week. So that's part of the thinking here.
All right. So Elise Stefanik, did she resign her seat in Congress to take this nomination for ambassador to the UN, or does she still have the seat? What's her current role in Congress if she has one?
Yeah, so she's still there in Congress. She hadn't resigned quite yet, but she did resign her leadership position. She was the number 4 Republican there for the Republican conference. So that's certainly something that she doesn't have anymore. There's talk of maybe bringing her back into the fold somehow. But still, nonetheless, she's not necessarily as important in terms of the leadership position right now, but she still has said, in fact, she said in a Fox News interview last night that she's going to amplify her voice a little bit more and speak out against things that she sees as wrong. And a lot of that speaking out will be against Democrats in her home state, but also Democrats on the national stage as well, and promoting the president's agenda.
So, I mean, just on the surface, this seems like a big loss for her. She goes from the 4th ranking member, Republican Congress, to just rank and file now, gets off those committees. Mm-hmm. That's a tough update on LinkedIn to say, oh, she put her neck out to be the UN ambassador, and she basically gets demoted going back to the House.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to think of it. And she mentioned yesterday in that interview that she had spoken with the president. Certainly is something that she probably wouldn't have liked. I mean, she had already been posting some memorable moments from her time in Congress on her social media feed. So she was very, very much looking forward to this position as to being confirmed as the UN ambassador. That confirmation process hadn't necessarily, the vote, I should say, hadn't been set quite yet. But the Speaker of the House has indicated that he's going to try to bring her back into leadership. What that would mean is perhaps creating some type of honorary position for her to be in the fold there, because they've already decided who their leaders are on the committees, in the leadership roles. Those positions have already been filled, so she doesn't necessarily have anything to fall back on.
Yeah, they have to give her some sort of flowers for this sidestep, because that I mean, she had a career trajectory that was going up politically, right? She came to national prominence, really grilling the deans of all those Ivy League colleges that we might remember about the pro-Palestinian protests. She got a lot of air there and really seemed to be a rising star, and now back as a rank-and-file member. Willie James Inman, CBS in D.C., joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. Real quickly, Willie, and I don't know if you have polling data or whatever, but the confidence that Republicans have in recapturing those the Matt Gaetz seats and the Michael Waltz seats in Florida.
Yeah, I think they remain pretty bullish about recapturing those seats. I don't necessarily have polling right in front of me, but part of the concern, as I mentioned, is holding on to every seat they can. And one of the ways that they do this is by not taking Stefanik out of the playbook. She maintains her seat, so they don't necessarily have to give up or have in any type of election with her seat there. So, but Republicans remain optimistic for the most part, from what I've heard, in terms of they're going into next week with these Florida elections, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's a big political chessboard, and I hate to use the analogy, but it looks like they just sacrificed their rook, right, on because of this. Final quick question: do we know who the new nominee will be to ambassador to the UN?
Well, you don't yet know. There's a lot of talk, of course, on social media, a lot of speculation. But if you know anything about this president, you don't want to predict or get ahead of him, because he oftentimes will surprise you. And a lot of times he does surprise us and post things on Truth Social. But when it happens, we'll make sure to let you know for sure.
Willie James Inman, CBS News. Thanks for jumping on the breaking news, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back, the future of the Department of Education, or what's left of it right now, though, clearing a vehicle fire. Live to the traffic center, and Andrew Seco.
And we're getting those barrels out of the right lane, but those delays still look really tough. Highway 78 westbound, passing the Big Rock at Stone Mountain, all the way towards Memorial Drive. Delays all the way back towards Rockbridge Road. Pack your patience. May want to use an alternate heading closer towards Tucker. This sport's sponsored by Zenchi Handcrafted Sushi. Craving something fresh and flavorful? Discover Zenchi Handcrafted Sushi. High quality, affordable, and made fresh daily. Find Zenchi Sushi today at your local Publix markets right by the seafood counter. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
Everyone has an opinion.
We have become an idiotic nation that doesn't know how to even debate anything, so it doesn't surprise
Eric
me.
Von Hessler has an opinion.
You will still age.
And some advice.
Start doing things when you're younger. Drink a lot of water.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
And you will still die.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
If you're approaching or in retirement, listen closely. The stock market has been volatile. Are you tired of seeing your retirement account nosedive? With so much going on in the world, how can you be confident that your retirement is safe? Let me show you how. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Retirement is meant to be enjoyed, but it's hard when you're not sure that your nest egg is safe. At Mitch Lyons Wealth, we wrote the book on protecting your retirement. It's called Retirement of Steel, and each of our clients enjoys a retirement of steel that can weather any storm. If you're not 100% sure that your retirement account is safe, contact us today for a complimentary review. Let's see if the strategies that we're using to help people retire confidently can work for you. I think you'd agree 40 years of working hard and saving for retirement is worth this call. Call 888-471-3896, 888-471-3896, again 888-471-3896. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
So we're on the 31st floor of our co-working building. I was with a friend and he kind of looked at me funny and said like, I think I've got vertigo. And then suddenly everyone else around us started also, looking at each other.
7.7 earthquake hits in Myanmar. Dead people in, I sound like Trump, he's dead. 3 dead in Myanmar and 3 dead at least right now in Bangkok, Thailand. We'll monitor this huge quake. We do have some lines out to our international folks in Asia to update this. Friday's earthquake is the largest to hit Myanmar since 1946 and likely the strongest in modern times. The 46 quake was also estimated to be 7.6, 7.7 along the Saajing Fault. Now, I guess I would imagine that maybe tsunami warnings in the area, too, since they're... Anyway, crazy story. All right, I need your help. If you are a Waze super user, do you use Waze, Longoria?
I do not.
You not use
I'm
Waze?
anti-Waze.
You're Oh, okay. Yeah. I use Waze and, of course, the Triple Team Traffic Alerts app. But I just realized something. So I was driving in to work for Waze today, and it pops up, disabled vehicle ahead. Is it still there? Or, object in the road, still there. Right. And you click, you either say yes or no, right? It's user-based. And when I click yes or no, it says, like this bubble pops up, and it's like, +2 points. +2 points. And I'm like, is there a leaderboard or something? Like,
yeah.
The more I help out, do I get benefits or something? It's like every time I confirm or deny that something's on the road, Waze is like, oh, you get 2 more points. Are those Sky Miles? What's the deal with that? Now, to be fair, I only think I've ever entered one incident into Waze because it's too dangerous when you're driving. But when Maya and I were driving to Florida with the dogs, there was a crash, and Maya took my phone and entered crash into the Waze, and I think I got like 7 points there or something.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, if anyone is a Waze aficionado, can you explain what's happening? What's with all those points I'm accumulating? Is it like Marlboro miles? You remember those back in the 90s?
You can turn them in for like a koozie or something.
Yeah, can I get a parka? So if anyone has any information on the Waze points, 404-872-0750, 404-872. I just want to go to waste, especially in these tough economic times.
Yeah, maybe you ought to buy eggs with them.
Exactly. And I mentioned the credit card I had. It's so funny. I was talking about the Sears card I've had since 1995. Lord knows how much I've purchased and paid off on that card, and there's no miles or no points or anything. They must have heard me because out of nowhere, they're like, Mr. Aram, we've just increased your credit limit by $5,000. Like I didn't ask for it or anything.
They just gave you more money.
They're like, thanks for the free pub. You get no points, but maybe I'm getting Waze points. So if anyone knows about the points system on Waze, I'd love to hear from you at 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK, or you can hit me up on social media at Mark Arum, MarkArum. All right, quick break. When we come back, the second couple heading to Greenland. What's the deal there? I sound like Seinfeld. What's the deal with that? John Decker, White House correspondent, joins us live next on The Mark Arum Show.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from my roofer, FGA Roofing. If your neighbor's designer roof has caught your eye, search FGA Roofing. And for a limited time, get $1,000 off your final quote if you mention you heard about it on the radio. Search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing. And ask about 0% financing.
Hope. It's more than a word. It's a breakthrough in the making. At City of Hope, we're pushing the boundaries of science, targeting cancer at the molecular level, with teams of experts working together to personalize a treatment plan right down to your DNA with unprecedented speed, making every second count, with appointments in as little as 24 hours. City of Hope, advancing cancer care at life-saving speed. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-575-2798.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, if you've been thinking about selling your home, now is the time. With a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, now you can sell your home fast and for more than you expect. Just go to markspain.com to find out what your guaranteed offer will be. That's markspain.com, and you can start packing.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 9:30. I'm Austin Eller. Our top story, the National Weather Service says there's a high fire danger for the metro area today. Any fires that develop could spread quickly. That comes as DeKalb County puts out a fire this morning on the side of Highway 78 near Hugh Howell. Meanwhile, wildfires continue to rage in the Carolinas today, forcing many to evacuate. This young couple lost their home to Hurricane Helene last fall, and then fires in North Carolina have stymied their efforts to rebuild.
Seems like Western North Carolina can't catch a break.
No, we can't.
The U.S. Forest Service says one fire burning in western North Carolina is the highest priority fire in the country. A Lawrenceville family is hoping for good news this morning as a young nonverbal boy remains missing. 5-year-old Indy Bullock ran off from his family's apartment at the Reflections on Sweetwater in Lawrenceville and hasn't been seen for half a day.
I think we're just at this point we are doing double steps of just making sure that we haven't missed anything on the areas that we did cover yesterday into the evening hours, as well as expanding a little bit further out.
Gwinnett County Police Sergeant James Lawson describes him as an African-American boy about 3 feet tall and weighing 45 pounds. He says Indy does respond to his name. Anyone who sees him should give Gwinnett County Police a call. The investigation continues this morning after a middle schooler is killed in an after-school shooting in DeKalb County. That teen was found with gunshot wounds on Glenwood Road and then later died at the hospital. Another middle schooler has been taken into custody for questioning, but no charges have been filed. Police believe that shooting may have stemmed from a fight. A Russian scientist at Harvard Medical School is facing possible deportation.
Ksenia Petrova was returning from a trip to France in February when she was detained by ICE at Boston's Logan Airport for having undeclared frog embryo samples in her luggage. Her lawyer claims that kind of customs violation is usually a $500 fine, but Petrova's visa was revoked and she spent the last 6 weeks in immigration detention in Louisiana.
Michael Wallace reports Petrova's worried about persecution in Russia for her anti-war stance. An inflation gauge closely watched by the Federal Reserve remained high last month, even before the impact of tariffs.
The Fed is concerned with economic growth and making sure that it is strong enough to create jobs, but it is also as concerned about prices. And based on what we know from tariffs that are in place or due to go in place right now, the Fed fears and consumers fear that inflation will tick up.
Jill Schlesinger reports American spending rebounded in February after a fall in January. Incomes also increased. With spring travel in focus, Delta Airlines going after flyers who've earned elite status with other airlines.
Delta says flyers who've met certain thresholds in the loyalty programs of other airlines can join its SkyMiles Medallion program for 90 days. After the complimentary period, if certain milestones are met, flyers can extend their elite status. And for a limited time, elite members with Southwest Airlines can join at either gold or platinum medallion status, depending on their A-list membership at Southwest. Medallion members enjoy benefits including unlimited complimentary upgrades. I'm Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti for 95.5 WSB.
It's 9:33. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Andrew Seco is live in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
And still seeing brake lights out of Rockbridge, passing the Big Rock as you're heading closer towards Tucker. That earlier fire you were talking about is out, but the brake lights remain. Highway 78 westbound. You're slow from Rockbridge all the way to Memorial Drive. Might be time to take it up to Highway 29 is a bit of a bypass here. Seeing brake lights through DeKalb. Roadwork popping up in the left lane. 285 north, the outer loop rolling past Covington Highway, exit 43, and a little bit of stoppage towards the north side in and out of Sandy Springs. Got a bit of a delay spot here, nothing to write home about, but you're still tapping the brakes. 285 east and west, getting between New Northside Drive up to Riverside Drive, exits 22 and 24. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy today, highs in the upper 70s to low 80s, lows tonight around 60 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, mainly dry, high 81. Rain showers return early Sunday morning, drying out through the afternoon, high 75.
It's 54 degrees in Lithonia, 54 in Douglasville, and currently 55 in Midtown Atlanta at 9:34. More news at 10 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta,
After suspect refused
chooses to exit home on Summer Chase Drive.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Looks to be a tanker truck crashed into the median on the Jam Cam.
95.5 WSB has you
The
covered.
major culprits are squeezing household budgets for auto insurance, gasoline, and utilities.
Your 24/7 news source. Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
He's not welcome to Greenland and his administration because he wants to buy us. If he
The
say,
Vances heading to Greenland. Doesn't look like they're going to get a warm welcome. We'll get the latest from the White House live. John Decker joins us in 2 minutes on the Mark Arum Show.
Our weather is so unpredictable. Dry for days, then we get drenched with rain and storms. Then we go from soaking wet to arid dry, extreme heat to bitter cold, and your roof takes all that abuse. Dave Baker here for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Admit it, you have no idea how your roof is doing, right? It's okay. Let me help. There are signs you can look for. Inside your house, look for wet spots, water streaks, or dripping water on the ceiling, drywall, chimney area, or up in the attic. If that wet spot is now a dry stain, it's still a problem. Outside your home, check your roof for streaks and stains, loss of color or granules in your downspouts, gutters, or scattered on the ground. If you find any of these things, think of Findlay first. They're the perfect match for any roofing issues. They are the extra effort experts that have installed over 65,000 roofs locally. Plus, Findlay offers 0% financing. Get started with a free roof analysis at findlayroofing.com. Roof.
At Ameris Bank, we're invested in the success of your business. Our local bankers are ready to help you improve your cash flow, optimize your operating accounts, and access financing when you need it. From treasury services and digital banking to loans and lines of credit, we offer tailored solutions to help your business thrive. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. Visit amerisbank.com/withyourbusiness or walk into one of our branches today to get started. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All loans subject to credit approval.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90NATION.
9:37. I'm going to call this a phenomenal Friday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. 10:20. Amanda Knox. You know the name. She was convicted of murder in Italy 10 years ago. The conviction overturned. She's going to join us live at 10:20. Political analyst Stephen Lawson in studio at 10:35. Going to answer all the political questions I have for the day. And then the 11 o'clock hour. OMG. Make sure if you dip out, you dip back at 11:05. The number one Egyptologist in the world, Dr. Zahi Hawass, is going to join us on the show. His reaction to that breaking news that popped last week out of Italy about a possible discovery underneath the Middle Pyramid in Egypt. A really big story online. We'll get to the truth of the matter from the number one Egyptologist, Dr. Zahi Hawass, joins us at 11:05. I got some info on the Waze data, by the way. Apparently, when you enter or confirm an incident on the road, you just get points on your thing. You can't redeem those points, but you get a special badge or something. I don't know. No incentive there. You can't get a free parka or a koozie, as Longoria said, or a free trip to Greenland, which is where we direct our attention now. Joining us live from the nation's capital, White House correspondent John Decker. John, good morning, my friend. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Mark. Hope you're doing well today. Happy Friday.
Right back at you, my friend. Obviously Greenland, ever since President Trump was elected to his second term, has been a very important island in the news cycle. The latest in that news cycle is J.D. Vance and his wife, the second lady, heading to Greenland for what exactly?
Well, they are airborne as we speak. They left just within the past 2 hours. It's a delegation that includes the Vice President, J.D. Vance, his wife, Usha, the National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, and the President's Energy Secretary. It's a day trip. They're just traveling to one location, and that is the U.S. military base in the northwest portion of that island. No other stops will be taken, and then they'll fly back. They'll fly back such that they'll arrive back in Washington this evening. But this clearly is keeping this issue alive and in the news. The idea of President Trump, what he's expressed many times, and that is that he'd like to see Greenland as a part of the United States, a U.S. territory.
Now, the itinerary and the passenger manifest of this trip has changed in the last couple of days. Originally, it was supposed to be just the Second Lady Usha Vance. Why is J.D. Vance going, the vice president, and why is Walz going on this trip now?
Well, I don't know exactly why each of the people that are on this delegation were chosen, but, I think that what the administration wanted to do was to lower the temperature because officials in Greenland were very upset by the announcement just simply that the Second Lady of the United States would be visiting Greenland, and they have now curtailed the extent of this visit so that it's just to the U.S. military base. A reminder that the U.S. once had 17 military installations on Greenland. That was during World War II and during the Cold War. Perhaps that's what the end game is for President Trump, reestablishing those military installations on that island, which the president views as a key part of America's national security.
17 military bases at one time. And how many now, John? I'm sorry?
One.
Just one. And it's
one.
more of a NATO installation too, isn't it?
Well, there's a significant U.S. Contingent that's there. They're part of Space Force, actually, and Greenland, as far as national security is concerned, provides a buffer for the United States as it relates to Russia, which is an adversary of the United States. That's the way it was described just the other day by the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Ultimately, we'll see what, if anything, comes out of this visit. This follows on a visit several months ago that was taken by Donald Trump Jr. to Greenland.
Is there, obviously Donald Trump, the president, wants to have Greenland become a U.S. territory, and there's no denying its importance on a global scale, whether it's militarily, talk of rare earth minerals, but is there a set of protocols or levers that the president can use or push to make this an official U.S. territory?
I don't know, and I've never heard of one NATO country, and of course the U.S. is the leading member of NATO, taking over territory of another NATO country. Greenland is a part of Denmark. It's a territory of Denmark. So I don't know, and Denmark's prime minister has already said Greenland is not for sale. So to me, it's a head scratcher as to this effort that the president is embarking upon. It makes more sense to see if Greenland, I think they would be amenable to the idea of reestablishing those military installations on the island rather than just simply this idea of conveying the territory to the United States.
White House correspondent John Decker joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. I'd be remiss, John, if I didn't ask you about this while we had you. Any updates on the now infamous Signal story, or is that kind of disappearing out of the news cycle?
Well, the latest is just the aftermath of that, and whether or not, because of what has now been made public, it has essentially given intelligence methods to the Houthi rebels if the U.S. wishes to carry out additional attacks on that terror group. So we'll have to wait and see. There's going to be a bipartisan investigation conducted by Congress. That's just getting underway, and we'll see whether or not ultimately any heads roll because of this screw-up, and that's the best way to describe it, this screw-up by the team that was on that call in inviting that journalist into that call, and then after that, the idea that they were using a non-secured app to discuss war plans.
I wonder if that's why Mike Walz was added to this Greenland trip, just to get him out of the nation's capital for a day or an afternoon, just to get him away from the spotlight. Might that be why he was added to this flight?
Yeah, it could be, but, generally we don't see him on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So whether he was here at the White House going about his role there, or whether he's on this trip, we wouldn't see him. There's a pool reporter that's on this trip, and I'm getting readouts in terms of everything, in terms of when it was that their plane took off from Andrews Air Force Base. It's a 5.5-hour flight. There, a 5.5-hour flight back. So it's going to be a really long day for all of those U.S. officials on this trip.
Yeah, just a quick day trip and no pomp and circumstance, no open-armed welcome from Greenland.
That's right.
John, great stuff as always. Thanks for your time. Have a good weekend, buddy.
Thanks, Mark. Bye-bye.
There you go, White House correspondent John Decker did not get selected for the flight. I would love to go to Greenland. I was fascinated, and this could be my teachers lying to me in elementary school, but the Greenland, Iceland naming.
They're opposite, right?
It's icy in Greenland and green in Iceland.
Correct, yeah.
But my teacher might have been lying. Was it Alan Solano, my teacher, that told me this? He's like, Greenland they chose that name to encourage folks to come live.
Oh, because it wasn't green.
Exactly.
Right?
They're like, hey, we're Greenland. It's awesome. Come on. And Iceland, there's like, we don't want people. We're icy. Go home. I don't. He might have just been. That's the level of education I got. I'm not complaining. It got me to where I am here. Speaking of international stories, quick update on that 7.7 magnitude earthquake that slammed Thailand's capital of Bangkok this morning, as well as neighboring Myanmar. Bangkok, there are reports of at least 3 dead and dozens more missing when a building under construction collapsed. ABC News foreign correspondent Britt Clennett says so far it's unclear of how bad things are and where the quake was centered.
The epicenter was in Myanmar, where there's, of course, a civil war raging on, making it very hard to get information on the damage and really complicating emergency responses too. Our producer there saying that destruction is widespread and the expected casualty numbers should be high, with reports of devastated buildings, a hospital with patients inside reportedly torn to the ground.
All right, so obviously a still developing situation. You never, the initial death tolls sadly are always too low with so many missing there in Myanmar and Bangkok, Thailand, obviously, which is Thailand is where White Lotus is featured this year. We were talking about yesterday, the show on HBO, kind of a controversial show, but a very popular show. This made me laugh because I actually thought about this, Deborah, as I was watching the last episode. An institution of higher learning, maybe not the biggest fans of White Lotus on HBO.
Sometimes when your brand is featured in a TV show or a movie, it's a good thing, like Reese's Pieces in E.T. or Ray-Ban sunglasses in Risky Business or even Eggos in Stranger Things. But Duke University is not happy about being featured in the series White Lotus. No spoilers here, but a character is seen wearing a Duke t-shirt, and the school did not like the storyline associated with it, releasing this statement. Duke appreciates artistic expression and creative storytelling, but the characters prominently wearing apparel bearing Duke's federally registered trademark creates confusion and mistakenly suggests an endorsement or affiliation where there is none. It does not reflect our values or who we are, and it simply goes too far. Again, no spoilers, but if you know, you know.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, Deborah. And I actually thought about that because the main character, again, no spoilers, but one of the main characters, the first episode, he the dad of the family, and it's a kind of awful family. The dad of the family went to Duke, and the mom of the family went to UNC Chapel Hill, and there's this funny scene about their youngest son. He got into both, and he was trying to decide where to go, and the dad's like, well, you're going to Duke, obviously. And the mom's like, no, you're going to North Carolina. But that was the first episode, and some really weird, bad stuff's happened, and I saw the dad in the last episode wearing this Duke t-shirt, and I thought to myself, what does Duke think about that? Or they want to be associated. I was right. They are not happy with the association there. You are not happy on 285. We got construction galore. Live with the latest, Andrew Seco.
You are not too happy right now. That is right, Mark. Either side of 285, north and south getting to Covington Highway, exit 43, setting up the left lane either direction. We're slow from Memorial Drive all the way to Flat Shoals Road. You may want to seek alternates heading through here, and they're setting up at the right lane as you're heading I-20 east through DeKalb or Wesley Chapel Road, exit 68. Slowing going just a little bit, merging from 285. The sports sponsored by Callaway Resort and Gardens. Celebrate spring at Callaway Resort and Gardens in Pine Mountain, Georgia. Relax at their Four Diamond Lodge and Spa or a charming cottage. Experience vibrant blooms and immersive art. Plan your spring getaway at CallawayGardens.com. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
The morning rush hour, the evening rush hour, and everything in between.
Slow spots are starting to build up the east side perimeter on 285 North.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic
We've
Center.
had several breakdowns, including one in the express lane.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Are you facing a fork in the road and deciding between continuing your career and retirement? I'm Wes Moss, host of Money Matters, And this massive life decision shouldn't be taken lightly. Talk with my team if you'd like help reviewing your retirement accounts and building a financial plan. We can help you review options and offer an opinion based on your best interests. You can find us at yourwealth.com. That's YOUR wealth.com.
When it comes to beautiful, they wrote the book. Siding, paint, windows, and doors gives your home a brand new look.
At Superior Pro, we use the highest quality materials and the best techniques in windows, siding, painting, doors, and more. Plus, all our projects come with an extended labor warranty. Visit SuperiorPro.com for a free in-home design consultation.
Superior Pro, the pros to know.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? With Xfinity, you can. Hey, it's Mark Arum here. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile has Wi-Fi Power Boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile together. Now through April 17th, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $30 a month for 1 year with no annual contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Plus, ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment taxes, fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited mobile welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Confirmation, the guests keep coming fast and furiously. 1050, aka 1050. Bloomberg's David Welsh is going to join us talking about the possible fallout from the auto tariffs. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. Coming up after the news at 10, going to talk to Andre Jones, the second. Arthur Jones II. He is the education reporter for ABC on really the last days of the Department of Education. Amanda Knox at 10:20. Political analyst Stephen Lawson at 10:35. And then 11 o'clock, we are going to Egypt on the show. Dr. Zahi Hawass, the premier Egyptologist, is going to join us and let us know exactly what those Italian researchers discovered underneath the Middle Pyramid last week in Giza. I'm so excited for that. Speaking of tariffs, Deborah forwarded me an email yesterday. I mentioned the 200% wine tariff that President Trump enacted, and I kind of dismissed it and said, it's French wine, Italian wine. All right, we have wine here. It's not that big a deal. And Deborah, I'm going to paraphrase the email you forwarded from a listener. I thought that the 200% tariff was just on wines, but apparently it's on all alcohol from Europe. Is that right, Deborah?
That's what the email said. All alcohol from Europe. Yeah.
Okay, so that includes the world famous Guinness beer. So this, I'm paraphrasing the email, but they were very upset that I just kind of like tossed aside the 200% wine tariff, but it affects all liquor. Scotch from Scotland, Ouzo from Greece, and of course limoncello from Italy. So yeah, I didn't mean to dismiss it. I just thought it was 200% on wines. We have plenty of wines here. You have a substitute. To me, it was the economic impact on the consumer would be smaller for a wine tariff than these automobile tariffs, which I think are going to be pretty severe. So I apologize if I misread the story yesterday. It's all alcohol imports from Europe to the United States. I've been to Italy in Europe. I need to get to England, and I've been to Portugal. I can claim I've been to Mexico, but it was only a stop on a cruise. I don't even know if that counts. Cozumel, does that count? If I went, I didn't get my passport stamped. I'm looking at the Stoic Eskimo.
Did you get off?
Yeah, I mean, we went off on an island, but there was no passport stamp or anything. But it was never a stay where. What's the first thing people, Deborah? I'll ask you. The first thing people are told when they go to Mexico: don't do what?
Don't drink the water.
Don't drink the water, right?
Lies.
Well, all right. So, I mean, but we all know that. Don't drink the water. Don't eat the local fruit, maybe. No, I don't know. I'm saying, isn't that some of the warnings people get to go to Mexico? Don't brush your teeth with the tap water. Use bottled water. Like, that's Montezuma's revenge, right? You're avoiding that.
Right.
So I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, well, I never really went. And I didn't brush my teeth in that, the 3 hours that I was in Cozumel or anything like that. But then I'm wondering, do Mexicans get the same warning when they come to America? Like, oh, you're going to Atlanta? Do not drink the water, man. Is it transient? Do we have the same issues when people from Mexico come to visit America? Do they have problems adjusting to the water? I wouldn't be surprised, but we know, we're not warned about it.
Right.
But I wonder if immigrants or visitors from other countries are warned about anything in the United States. Like, don't drink.
The only one that I can think of is just don't carry all of your money in one place. Like, that's what my relatives in Mexico, cousins, great uncles and stuff like that, they literally have money like in different pockets and different things.
Oh,
They won't just
really?
keep it in a wallet, yeah.
Because we're all thieves here. We're all pickpockets.
Yeah, that's why you're so rich here.
Well, that was when we went to Italy. We were warned about the pickpockets in Rome, but no one ever said, don't drink the water in Rome. Don't drink the water. I wonder if there are warnings like that. I would love to find out if people traveling from Mexico to the United States are warned, dude, whatever you do, have fun, but don't drink the water, man. It'll mess you up. What would be the name for, instead of Montezuma's revenge, it would be...
Well, the water in Florida is terrible.
The water... yeah,
Gulf of America revenge?
Yeah, something. I'll come up with a good moniker. But I would love to find that out. If Mexican tourists are warned when you're going to New York City? Yeah, have fun. Just don't brush your teeth with the water. Be careful when you're showering. You don't want to, swallow any water. It's bad, man. You'll get messed up. Anyway, thank you for the insight to my fellow world travelers. All right, news, weather, and traffic in 3 minutes. When we come back, the final days apparently of the Department of Education. Just about all the folks got their walking papers. What will that mean to education here in the state of Georgia? That is a big story we've been covering with a big local impact. Coming up after the news, Arthur Jones II, ABC News education reporter, will join us with the details. And, of course, we'll update one big local story and one big national story, missing child in Gwinnett County and a massive earthquake in the Far East impacting Thailand and Myanmar. Social media is always active at Mark Arum, MarkArum, and at WSB Radio.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from iRoofer, FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, search FGA Roofing for the latest in designer architectural shingles. Ask about 0% financing. That's FGA Roofing.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Listeners, friends, family, neighbors, heck, even coworkers have asking me about QC Kinetics treatment. Hey, it's Mark Arum. No joke. Coworker the other day asked me about QC Kinetics. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. Well, if you're wondering if you're a good candidate, let's see if you answer yes to any of these questions. First question, is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain? And most importantly, do you miss doing the things you love because joint pain is holding you back? If you answer yes to any of those questions, I bet you're a great candidate with my friends at QC Kinetics. Call QC Kinetics right now. Ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Call 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026, 770-285-8026.
If you've been thinking about selling your home, now is the time. With a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can sell your home fast and for more than you expect. Choose when you want to move with the Mark Spain Real Estate Guaranteed Offer. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there. Good morning. It's coming up on 10 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Dr. Roof. Happening right now, the search is widening for a missing 5-year-old boy in Lawrenceville this morning.
Dive crews are searching several bodies of water near the Reflections on Sweetwater Apartments, where Gwinnett police say little Indy Bullock was last seen playing on a patio.
We are doing double steps, just making sure that we haven't missed anything on the areas that we did cover yesterday, as well as expanding a little bit further out.
Sergeant James Lawson says they're also using canines and drones. Search teams from nearby counties are also helping look for the nonverbal child. Indy does respond to his name. The African-American boy was last seen wearing a black shirt, green shorts, and no shoes. Foul play is not suspected. Amanda Moyer, 95.5 WSB.
Thank you, Amanda. We do have a picture of that little boy on our website. You can take a look, WSBradio.com. Again, anybody see him or anybody that looks like him, you're being asked to call 911. Your weather for today, partly cloudy and warm. We're headed for an afternoon high of 80 degrees, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. And the National Weather Service says there is a high fire danger for Metro Atlanta again today. That means any fires that develop could spread quickly. In DeKalb County this morning, crews had to put out a brush fire on the side of Highway 78 near Hugh Howell. Outdoor burning is strongly discouraged today. The high-risk fire danger in effect through 9 o'clock tonight. A massive earthquake shakes parts of Southeast Asia. The magnitude 7.7 quake struck around midday local time in central Myanmar. The quake also caused death and destruction hundreds of miles away in Bangkok. News reports out of India saying tremors from that quake were felt as far away as New Delhi. The death toll right now is unknown. In Cherokee County, a jury finds 2 men guilty of burglary after deliberating for only 20 minutes. 37-year-old Randolph Bush and 36-year-old William Morgan found guilty of breaking out a window at a home on Shoal Creek Road in broad daylight. They took guns, jewelry, a safe with thousands of dollars in cash inside, and landscaping equipment. The two pawned some of those items at a local pawn shop. They were identified by Canton police through fingerprints. They're going to be sentenced at a later date. Major changes could be coming to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives.
A source familiar says there's a memo circulating inside the Department of Justice about a plan to possibly streamline and merge the ATF with the Drug Enforcement Administration.
Scott McFarland reporting this morning the memo did not detail how the agencies would be combined or if any workers would be laid off. Well, with spring travel in focus, Delta Airlines is going after flyers who've earned elite status with the loyalty programs at rival airlines.
Delta says flyers who've met certain thresholds in the loyalty programs of other airlines can join its SkyMiles Medallion program for 90 days. After the complimentary period, if certain milestones are met, flyers can extend their elite status. And for a limited time, elite members with Southwest Airlines can join at either gold or platinum medallion status, depending on their A-list membership at Southwest. Medallion members enjoy benefits, including unlimited complimentary upgrades. I'm Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti for 95.5 WSB.
Now, your money. Inflation rose more than expected last month as consumers were spending less. The core personal consumption expenditures price index, that's a key inflation measure released today, by the Commerce Department, shows a 0.4% increase for the month. That's about a tenth higher than what analysts were expecting. Let's take a look at the markets. We're in the red this morning. The Dow's down more than 0.5%. So is NASDAQ and the S&P. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. We turn now to Smiling Mark McKay.
Good morning, Sabrina. We have road work already up and running on the east side perimeter and delays associated with it as well. On the jam cam, we see a left lane knocked out with that road work 285 northbound. At Covington Highway, exit 43, delays begin back at Flat Shoals. If you're heading to Hartsfield down the south side, the southbound lanes of I-285 as you leave Memorial Drive. We also have a right lane knocked out with construction near Covington Highway and Glenwood. Heading through the city, they expect delays on the connectors south. Let's call it sluggish from 17th Street down past William Street. Northbound still on the break, 7585 north leaving University Avenue up to John Lewis Freedom Parkway. Smiler Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy today, highs in the upper 70s to low 80s, lows tonight around 60 degrees. Tomorrow mostly cloudy, mainly dry, high 81. Rain showers return early Sunday morning, drying out through the afternoon, high 75. 55.
It's 57 degrees right now in Covington and Johns Creek. Decatur, you have 58 degrees. We'll have more news at 10:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Friday morning to you. Mark Aram here, you there. It's 10:04, 4 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Aram Show, live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. Whole family with us today. Deborah Green, the executive producer of the show. Longoria, the stoic Eskimo on the other side of the takeout window. Vinny Bag of Donuts screens your calls. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Amanda Knox is going to join us. She has a book out. She, you might remember, was convicted of murdering her roommate in Italy. That conviction overturned 10 years ago yesterday. She's got a book out. She's going to join us live. 10:35, political analyst Stephen Lawson live in studio. And 11 o'clock. Can you pull Walk Like an Egyptian, Longoria? We're going to need that song. We're going over to Egypt to talk to Dr. Zahi Hawass, get his take on the big Egypt news that broke last week that Italian researchers said they found some really interesting, weird stuff underneath the Great Pyramids in Egypt. So we're going to go to Egypt at 11 o'clock on the Mark Aram Show. Quick update, Deborah. We have hot dogs today provided by Axel from 97.1 The River in honor of Chicago-style hot dogs in honor of baseball's opening day, which was yesterday, but he's bringing them today. Listen, no one's going to complain about free food. Braves lost their opener yesterday, 7-4 to the Padres. They'll play the Padres again. And then their home openers next week back at Truist Park. But the sad news for that timing of the hot dogs is, Deborah, Longo can't partake.
Why?
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
Yes.
Yeah. It would have been better on opening day yesterday
I know.
when it was actually opening
I'm sorry.
day.
So I'm going to eat Longoria's hot dogs coming up in just a little bit, thanks to our buddy Axel from 97.1 The River. All right, let's go in depth. Joining us from ABC News, education reporter Arthur Jones II. Obviously, a big story, the dismantling of the Department of Education on the federal level. Arthur, do we know how many folks have lost their job or about to lose their job?
Nearly half of the U.S. Department of Education's workforce has been slashed by the Trump administration. It's the smallest cabinet-level agency, just over 4,000 employees, and around 2,000 were told that they either have to voluntarily separate, they're taking early retirements, or a part of this massive reduction in force where hundreds of employees have been impacted so far. So this agency has basically been cut in half.
Do we have any idea how many people took the buyout or the early retirement and how many people did not? Have those numbers been released yet?
Those numbers have. It's about a little over 600 people who took the retirements and the buyouts. Then there's about 65 who are probationary employees who were laid off. And then the rest were a part of this reduction in force. So that's over 1,000. I believe the number was 1,315 in the reduction in force. So like I said, about 2,000 employees are losing their jobs at the department, and we can expect more.
Arthur Jones, the second education reporter for ABC News, joining us on the Mark Aram Show. One of the big aspects of this story we've been following locally is the impact here in Georgia. In 2024, the Department of Education federal money, $4.4 billion, came to Georgia. And the question we're having is that money going to go away as the Department of Education goes away? Do we have any idea if funding from the federal government is going to be lessened under the second Trump administration and the dismantling of the Department of Education?
The Trump administration has vowed not to cut funding. Our own Rachel Scott spoke to Secretary Linda McMahon, and that's exactly what she said, that no funding, no defunding, she said, will happen at the U.S. Department of Education. This is an operation to shut down the federal oversight at the U.S. Department of Education and send money back down to the 50 states, including Georgia, of course. They say that any statutory programs, the ones that are mandated by statute, student loans, civil rights, and students with disabilities, Title I, low-income families, those programs will not be touched, but many of them will be moved to other agencies.
So what are the concerns that we're hearing from some of the unions for the teachers, the National Education Association? What are their biggest concerns now that the Department of Education is basically non-existent?
Well, that these massive changes will harm America's students. Especially, it's marginalized. It's most marginalized communities. like I said, some of the civil rights concerns, those with disabilities, IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act is a part or under the U.S. Department of Education. IEPs, these individualized education programs for students with disabilities, they believe that if you're moving that money around, if you're moving it to other agencies, or you're letting go the people who investigate civil rights discriminations for students with disabilities and that matters, that those students won't get the oversight that they need, that those students won't have the special education expertise at the federal level there anymore. I've talked to parents all across this country with students with special needs in their households, and they're frankly worried that the state won't do its job.
Final question for you, Arthur. We've seen with, the DOJ cuts in other agencies, a lot of court cases have been filed. Have any been filed in the dismantling of the Department of Education, or is this signed, sealed, and delivered? It's all done.
There's been massive filings already, essentially triggered the moment after President Trump signed his directive, the executive order for Secretary Linda McMahon to try and downsize the department as much as she could under the law. The National Education Association, the NAACP, they have already signed on to lawsuits effectively saying that it will harm students not having this federal oversight, from the Department of Education. But, the president's supporters, they saw him campaign on this. This was a promise that he made to the people within his base, and now the president is saying it's a promise kept.
There you go. Arthur Jones II, ABC News education reporter. Arthur, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark.
Again, that was the best case scenario I hoped for the state of Georgia, that you eliminate the bureaucracy, and maybe there are some things that are going to be eliminated on the federal level that could impact us here in Georgia. We'll wait and see. But the federal funding will still be funneled here to the Peach State. Again, that $4.4 billion last year. So all indications, again, word from Linda McMahon, the head of the Department of Education, soon to be dismantled Department of Education, is that federal funding should still be allotted to the state of Georgia. And then it's up to the Georgians, whether it's the boards of education or the state superintendent, to determine where that $4 billion is allocated here locally. Quick update on the breaking news in Myanmar, the 7.6, 7.7 earthquake impacting Myanmar and Thailand. Mike Valerio from CNN reporting in South Korea just a moment ago.
81 people, up to 81 people could be missing underneath the piles of concrete. This is the emotional center of gravity in Thailand as far as this 7.7 magnitude earthquake is concerned. Just the emotional undercurrents that are running raw at that scene right now. Whole multitudes of emergency rescue teams are trying to find people, trying to stage a miracle on live TV. So many corners of Asia and the world captivated by what is happening close to the center of town in Bangkok right now. The Prime Minister of Thailand, Paetongtarn Shinawatra, telling people the severity of the crisis is diminishing and it is safe to go into high-rise apartments. But Wolf, if you've lived through this magnitude 7.7 earthquake, this generational catastrophe, there are whole hordes of people who are calling us at CNN saying, hell no, essentially, they are not going into their apartments after something like that has beset the capital. Moving to Myanmar, this is a country, Wolf, that has been beset by civil war since February of 2021. All humanitarian organizations from the democratic world, from certainly this corner of the world, are wondering how they are going to stage a Herculean humanitarian rescue effort when the military government is waging a civil war with rebel groups from the cities to the jungle countryside in all parts of this country that have been decimated. So what we're watching for in the next couple hours, we're going to be with you in the next hour, is just, are the hospitals in Yangon, the capital city of Naypyidaw, overrun with people? The scenes could be horrific.
There you go, Mike Valerio in Seoul, South Korea, just a couple of minutes ago, monitoring the massive earthquakes. I often said, for most of my life, I never felt an earthquake. Growing up in Connecticut, there were like 3.1s and 2.8s that would hit New England, and I never felt a single one of them. And then in Georgia, we've had a couple of minor quakes here, and I never felt them. I'd be doing TV in the morning, and Karen Minton would be like, "Oh, we just had a 3.1 quake reported in Hall County," and I was like, "I didn't feel anything." I kind of felt left out. Fast forward to 2019, and I was in Las Vegas for the World Series of Poker, and staying at the Venetian, I believe, high-rise hotel, really nice hotel, and I remember going into the closet there to play the World Series of Poker. So it's a $10,000 buy-in, and I felt really weird with $10,000. So I put it in the vault, the safe in a hotel room. Have you guys ever used the safe in a hotel room?
Yeah.
You've used it before? Deborah, have you ever used that safe in a hotel room before?
Where do you think I keep my records?
Oh, all right. I'd never used it before. So I was very nervous, first of all, setting up the password. I'm like, I imagine I put $10,000 in
you
cash,
can't get it out.
and I can't get it out. So I put it in there, and then I was getting up to take the $10,000 and go over to the Rio to buy into the World Series of Poker. And I'm in the closet, and I start feeling nauseous. And I was like, oh, no, my stomach. That's the first thing I thought was.
What did I eat?
Well, yeah, what did I eat? My stomach. And I'm in the closet, and I'm sweating, and I'm claustrophobic. And I'm like, oh, no, what the heck? So I get out of it's a big walk-in closet where the safe is. And I walk out, and I'm in the hotel room. And like the light, not a chandelier, but the light fixture is moving. And I was like, oh, it's not my stomach for once. I'm in an earthquake. And Maya was already downstairs at the pool or something. Like she was out doing her stuff. And I freaked out. That was a 6.4. And that happened in California, and I was in Las Vegas. I think it was called the Ridgecrest earthquakes. And there's a couple of aftershocks after. But that was, it freaked me out. I was nowhere near the epicenter, but it was, I'm on like the 24th floor of a hotel, and the chandelier's swaying, and I was like, holy smokes. No damage, nothing got out, everything was fine. And then the aftershock happened while I was playing in the World Series of Poker. And that was a freaky thing. And I was like, oh, I'm glad I never experienced the earthquake. That was not a pleasant thing to deal with. I will never forget that. Of course, I thought it was my stomach. I'm like, oh, what did I eat?
I'm not in Mexico.
Yeah.
I didn't drink the water.
Oh, Montezuma's Revenge. Michael Jordan's Revenge. I'm trying to think of an M.
Okay,
whatever.
Yeah, Michael Jordan.
I thought that was better. The only ones I could think of were Michael J. Fox's Revenge. That's probably not good with his thing.
No.
And then Michael Jackson Revenge.
That's not good either.
So we're going to settle on Mexican travelers to the United States warned by their friends and family. Hey, if you go to America, don't drink the water. You'll get Michael Jordan's revenge. We're going to use that as the the thing now. So if you have friends in Mexico and they're coming to visit the United States, although now I don't know why they would, but if they would, be like, oh, don't drink the water. Michael Jordan's revenge.
Let's start that.
Oh, because he had the flu game. Remember he had that infamous flu game? Oh, this is going to be a thing. Foreign travelers coming to the United States. Don't drink the water. You might get Michael Jordan's revenge. And then we could, fictionally tie to, remember he had that flu game? He drank the water in Utah. It killed him. But then he went out and scored 45, Anyway. So we're going to update, obviously, the breaking news there, the earthquake in Myanmar. All right, 10:17 on the Mark Arum Show. Coming up after a quick break, we're going to talk live to Amanda Knox. You might remember her. She was convicted of killing her roommate in Italy. That conviction was overturned 10 years ago. She has a new book out. That's coming up after we check traffic. Looking at the ride around town, the one and only smiling Mark McKay.
Thanks, Mark. We've got delays out of Kennesaw toward Ackworth. New crash I-75 northbound north of Wade Green Road, exit 273. Only a tap of the brake southbound now, leaving Marietta past Truist Park. A little more than that, 85 south still, leaving Duluth and Norcross. Worst of that southbound ride will be right around Pleasant Hill Road. And I-85 trouble rolling in the Noonan on the jam cam. First responders out with an injury crash on I-85 southbound. They're taking out the two right lanes before Highway 34, exit 47. Smiler Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
When you need to know.
This story is developing in Atlanta.
When you want to know.
Severe weather is on its way.
When you have to know.
We'll alert you as soon as this closure clears.
Get notifications
from your source for news.
Get the WSB radio app.
Download it from your app store today.
Hi, it's Tim Andrews from the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I have a question for you. Why does it matter that D. Geller & Son is Atlanta's first diamond wholesaler? Because they get first dibs. See, when diamonds get to Atlanta, they go to D. Geller & Son first. A whole bunch of diamonds that are the same, like on paper. But there's only about 1 of every 10 that you can see across their showroom. A lot of the other ones are what you might call duds. So they keep the good one and send the other ones somewhere else. Where is that somewhere else? Well, usually it's a big box store, and they're not quite as picky. Theirs have the same color, clarity, and price, but you get more brilliance, more sparkle, and more bang for your diamond buck at D. Geller & Son. And that, my friends, is the D. Geller difference. I'm picky, you're picky, and most importantly, so are they. Because they live, work, and play right here in Atlanta just like you and I. So when it comes to giving us the best diamonds, they have to get it right. And that's the story of how Atlanta's first diamond wholesaler became Atlanta's favorite diamond retailer. Go see the D. Geller & Son difference for yourself in Kennesaw and Sandy Springs or online at dgeller.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-575-2798.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Believe me, warmer weather is coming, and now is the time to upgrade your deck or add to your outdoor living space. Dave Baker here. My friends at Ben Hill Renovations are experts at creating decks of all shapes and sizes. They've been doing it for over 60 years, and now is the perfect time to schedule a free at-home deck consultation at bhrenovations.com to get that new deck ready for warmer weather. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964. bhrenovations.com.
If you've been thinking about selling your home this year, now is the time. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry. When you receive a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, there's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. One of our clients, BR, said, Mark Spain Real Estate sold my home within 30 days. I definitely recommend them to my friends and family. Trust the top real estate team in the U.S. and find out what your guaranteed offer would be. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
If you're approaching or in retirement, listen closely. The stock market has been volatile. Are you tired of seeing your retirement account nosedive? With so much going on in the world, how can you be confident that your retirement is safe? Let me show you how. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Retirement is meant to be enjoyed, but it's hard when you're not sure that your nest egg is safe. At Mitch Lyons Wealth, we wrote the book on protecting your retirement. It's called Retirement of Steel, and each of our clients enjoys a retirement of steel that can weather any storm. If you're not 100% sure that your retirement account is safe, contact us today for a complimentary review. Let's see if the strategies that we're using to help people retire confidently can work for you. I think you'd agree 40 years of working hard and saving for retirement is worth this call. Call 888-471-3896, 888-471-3896, again 888-471-3896. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Happy 70th birthday, country music legend and friend of the show, Reba McEntire. She turned 70 years old today. That's her song, Just a Little Love. Yesterday on the show, I played you this audio.
You saved my life, and I'm so grateful. And I'm so grateful to have my life back.
10 years ago yesterday, Italy's highest court overturned the conviction of Amanda Knox and her ex-boyfriend in the 2007 slaying of her roommate. That was Amanda Knox thanking the court for its verdict, and Amanda now joins us live on the Mark Arum Show. Amanda, good morning. Thanks so much for your time.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
Is it difficult for you to talk about that and what happened 10 years ago yesterday?
I mean, yes and no, in the sense that, like, it still is a painful memory, but also I feel really proud of the work that I've done since then, and I'm happy to share it with everyone.
And you will be sharing that in your new book, Amanda Knox and Free, My Search for Meaning. I mean, thankfully you wrote a book because this was such a high-profile case. We had so many questions that went unanswered. I'll start with the most obvious. Do we know you were found innocent? Do we know who killed your roommate back then in 2007?
Oh, yes. And in fact, it was very early on in the investigation that we know who actually committed the crime, because his DNA and fingerprints were found on Meredith's body and on all of her belongings throughout the crime scene. The problem was that he was identified and then arrested much after I was already arrested. And so the story around this burglar who had a history of breaking and entering and being violent towards women, he got identified after they had already sort of made me the central feature of their case, and they just sort of put him in. So he was made to be out to be just like a pawn in this sex orgy, like death orgy that I was orchestrating.
Ugh.
He ultimately was convicted and sentenced to 13 years in prison, but he has since gotten out of prison, and now he is under investigation. Actually, the investigation's over. He's now on trial for sexually assaulting and abusing another young woman who thankfully survived the experience and went to the police to tell the tale.
He only got 13 years? That seems really light sentence.
That's right, and that's because he was never found fully accountable for his crimes. He was never found guilty for breaking into our home. He was never found guilty of stealing Meredith's belongings. He was only found guilty of her sexual assault and participation in murder. He was never found guilty of having been the one who actually committed the crime.
Gotcha. So, Amanda, you spent nearly 4 years in prison, 8 years on trial for a murder you didn't commit. Did you ever get compensation from the Italian government for your false imprisonment?
No.
Really?
No, and in fact, like to this day, I remain wrongly convicted of a lesser charge. So like basically the position of the Italian government is, even if I was innocent of this crime, it's my own fault that I got wrongly convicted. And that's not so uncommon of a stance. Like you hear, even here in the United States, you hear about these incredible stories of people getting compensated, millions of dollars for having lost 20 years of their life in prison. But the actual story is that's a very rare occurrence, and the vast majority of people who survive a wrongful conviction are not compensated for the time that they lost.
Unbelievable story. I'm so sad that you had to go through all of that. So sad that you really can't return to Italy. Amanda Knox, the book is called Free, My Search for Meaning. Again, 10 years ago yesterday, that conviction was overturned. Available wherever books are sold. Free, My Search for Meaning. Godspeed, Amanda Knox. Godspeed. Quick break after news, weather, and traffic. We'll come back, and we're going to talk politics. Political analyst Stephen Lawson live in studio on The Mark Arum Show.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer. With experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. EmoryHealthcare.org/Winship.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, to discuss one of the biggest blind spots that people face when saving for retirement, and it's a head-scratcher. Chris, how do so many people not know what they're invested in?
That's the biggest flaw that everybody runs into. They think they know what equities they have, they think they know what bonds they have, but they really don't know how those mutual funds or how those index funds are performing in conjunction with one another. So, I would liken this to a big pot of soup, and we're just throwing all the ingredients in the refrigerator in this thing. It's not very good. It's just a mishmash of stuff. And sometimes you like the way it tastes. Sometimes you don't. And when you don't know why. You don't know if you got too much chicken in there or too much vegetables in there or what's going on. And I ask every caller that comes in for an initial consultation, do you know how your portfolio is broken down? And they say, well, I've got, 20 or so options in my 401k, and I just picked 2 of them or 3 of them. I thought I needed some international. I thought I needed some U.S. equities. I thought I needed some bonds. And they're just guessing. So you have to absolutely know what you're invested in, and that's where we will run the 401k portfolio x-ray for you, because that'll break it down. If you're not proficient at investing and don't understand this world, we will walk you through it. Not knowing what you're invested in is a big hindrance to growing and protecting your money. We will run a portfolio x-ray for you and educate you on exactly what's in your portfolio.
Set up a time to get your complimentary portfolio x-ray today. Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858, or book online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
For only a few more days, you can get 3 rooms of carpet clean plus a free hallway from Zero Res for only $109 when you mention me, Chris Chandler. This offer ends soon, so schedule your appointment now before it's too late. Schedule online at ZeroResAtlanta.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 10:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by your Metro Atlanta Amco dealers. Update on the search for a missing 5-year-old boy in Gwinnett County. This is in the area of Sweetwater Road near Lawrenceville. Andy Bullock now is nonverbal and was last seen at the Reflections on Sweetwater Apartments, playing on the patio of his family's first-floor unit there. Sergeant James Lawson telling WSB this morning additional search crews have now been brought in to help.
This complex, there are 3 different bodies of water, so we want to make sure that we're very thorough. And we have been able to use K9 asset to also track.
Now, we told you the little boy was nonverbal, but he does respond to his name. Indy was last seen wearing a black shirt, green shorts, and no shoes. The African-American boy is about 3 feet tall, around 45 pounds. We do have his picture online. You can take a look, WSBradio.com. Anybody with information being asked to please call 911. All right, your weather for today. Partly cloudy and warm. We're headed for an afternoon high of 80, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. At least 3 people dead after a massive earthquake shakes parts of Southeast Asia. That's according to multiple reports, which said the death toll is expected to go even higher. Britt Clinette has more.
The epicenter was in Myanmar, where there's, of course, a civil war raging on, making it very hard to get information on the damage and really complicating emergency responses too. Our producer there saying the destruction is widespread and the expected casualty numbers should be high, with reports of devastated buildings, a hospital with patients inside reportedly torn to the ground.
And this was a 7.7 magnitude earthquake. Police are investigating a deadly shooting at a gas station in northwest Atlanta. Officers responding to the Exxon gas station at the intersection of Joseph H. Boone and Joseph E. Lowry Boulevards. They found a 19-year-old dead from gunshot wounds. And this is not far from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in downtown Atlanta. Investigators are reviewing surveillance footage right now and talking to people. 2 people are in custody from what we understand. There's no word on any charges or arrest at this time. Governor Kemp could tie New York's governor for the highest paid governor in the country. State senators have agreed to give big pay raises to most of Georgia's statewide officials. The proposal would raise Governor Kemp's pay to $250,000. That's a 37% increase in matching New York's. Kathy Hochul, the House still must pass the bill. And new polling this morning shows a majority of Americans are not feeling great about the state of the economy. CBS News Executive Director of Elections and Surveys, Anthony Salvanto, explains what's behind the numbers.
Most Americans continuing to say that they think the economy is bad. Why is that? Well, when we ask people, it's much the same story as it's been for years since the pandemic. It's prices. That's the top reason they give for why they rate the economy that way.
Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is down 472 at 41,826. So the Dow's down more than a full percent. NASDAQ's down almost 2%. And the S&P's down more than a full percent. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Smile and Mark McKay has a look at your roads.
Construction slow down on the east side perimeter, both directions between Highway 78 and I-20. Left lanes knocked out both ways on the inner and the outer loop, 285 north and southbound right at Covington Highway, exit 43. 85 still stacked up as you leave leave Highway 316 trying to work your way south into Norcross. And a right lane is taken out with a crash in Kennesaw, I-75 northbound north of Wade Green Road, exit 273. Smiler Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy today, highs in the upper 70s to low 80s, lows tonight in the upper 50s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, mainly dry, high 81. Rain showers and a few thunderstorms for Sunday morning, drying out in the afternoon, high 75.
64 degrees in Villa Rica at 63 in Riverdale. Smyrna has 62 degrees right now. We'll have more news at 11 o'clock, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
I've listened to many arguments, and there are good arguments to say that we shouldn't. I'm just saying.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
This is the only way to do it. Some people are going to lose their job, and then they're going to be put back in the job.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
It's about you. You're being celebrated.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I was checking a message on my mobile phone. I was in my lazy boy.
Massive
and all of a
earthquake
sudden it
impacting
moved
Thailand. In 30 minutes, we go live to Bangkok. But coming up next, we're going to talk politics. Political analyst Stephen Lawson live in studio 2 minutes away on The Mark Arum Show.
When you decide to buy a natural diamond, remember Tara Fine Jewelry Company in Beaufort is an authorized Hearts on Fire jeweler. Every Hearts on Fire diamond is a piece of art, carefully and thoughtfully selected and crafted, worthy of the kind of special occasions that come along a few times in a lifetime. My friends at Tara Fine Jewelry will show you how to accurately compare diamonds with their famous personal service, so you'll know you're making a good decision. You'll see why I've been a Tara Fine Jewelry customer for over 25 years. Tara Fine Jewelry in Beaufort.
City of Hope, a place where seemingly impossible blood cancers become treatable, curable. With more than 19,000 bone marrow transplants performed, we're the largest and most successful program in the U.S., making major breakthroughs in treating leukemia, lymphoma, and rare blood cancers, personalizing a treatment plan right down to your DNA. Now the experts striving to make the impossible a reality are closer to home. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
I know we just started spring, but already Maya and I have turned on the AC in our house a couple of times. Hey, it's Mark Arum back from my pals at Reliable Heating and Air. We are going to use our AC a lot this summer. I'm sure you will as well. Great new deal from my friends at Reliable. Check this out, folks. Get any size air conditioning, any size AC, just $69.99 a month. Zero down payment, low monthly payments, unbeatable lifetime warranty, and next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you $500. Yes, any size AC, just $69.99 a month, zero down, low monthly payments. Don't go into another sweltering summer with your old AC unit. Get a new one from my friends at Reliable. Book an appointment for a convenient time right on their website at reliableair.com and click on the Schedule Service button, or call or text 770-594-9969, 770-594-9969.
I found a fountain of youth down there at QC Kinetics.
That's Henry Hinton, feeling like his young, active self again after treatments at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine.
I still have trouble walking down steps as I get older. I've had one treatment so far, and I can already tell a difference in my knee.
And that treatment at QC Kinetics used Henry's own natural healing properties, concentrated and placed right at the source of the pain. So Henry and patients just like him will enjoy long-term relief without surgery or downtime.
My knee is not hurting. I remember I was walking down some steps yesterday, and I thought, wow, this is not hurting when I walk down steps. I'm all in on it. I'm all in on QC Kinetics.
It's time to wind back the clock to days without constant joint pain. Start with a call to QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026.
It's the kind of thing where literally I play the game and it's like 4 hours go by. Fate has me highly skilled and loaded with talent.
Happy 55th birthday, actor Vince Vaughn, born on this date in 1970. Did I tell you the time I met Vince Vaughn? Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show, by the way. We're going to go live to Bangkok, Thailand in 30 minutes. Going to talk politics in about 30 seconds. He was in Atlanta filming the horrible movie called The Intern, and I got to visit him on set because I knew a friend of one of the actors. And Vince, we were standing there. It was me, my friend, Vince Vaughn, and another actor. And Vince introduced himself to me. He was like, "Hey, I'm Vince Vaughn." I was like, yeah, I'm Mark Arum. You know who I am. I just thought it was so cool that he was like kind enough to be like, hey, I'm Vince.
Like if you didn't know. Like,
Yeah. I've heard that he's maybe not that nice, but he was very nice to me in that. But that movie was so bad, The Intern. Anyway, welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. Joining us live in studio, political analyst Stephen Lawson. Stephen, good morning. Happy Friday, brother.
Mark, great to be here.
You dressed for TV.
I did. Yeah. Well, I may be headed to TV later.
Okay,
so you never
there
know.
you go. You can watch us live, by the way, on the video stream at WSBradio.com. Let's start locally, if you don't mind. We talked about this the other day on the show. The cell phone ban in schools here in Georgia, K through 8th grade, it cleared under the Gold Dome and now sits on the governor's desk. We assume he is going to sign this into law. What's been the reaction, and has there been any pushback on this cell phone ban?
I think most of the feedback has been really positive. I think what you've seen in other states that have implemented this, obviously there's some local jurisdictions that have already done this in Georgia, and the results have been really positive across the board. You're seeing attention up. Teachers are reporting that the classrooms are easier. Learning is up. All of these metrics that are trackable are up. And I think, in this digital age, in this social media age where kids are dealing with this constantly, being able to put their phone aside and look at their books and look at their learning materials, especially post-COVID, where we know parents are dealing with that, I think is going to be a huge boost for education in Georgia, and the feedback's been very positive.
Yeah,
so
I'm
far.
an unabashed fan of this rule. I mean, I'm the first to admit I'm addicted to this thing, and I'm a grown man.
Yeah.
So imagine kids. I have a rough time lying at night and trying to fall asleep, be like, oh, let me just check my email one more time. And the distraction, the inevitable distraction is for kids. So I'm really excited that this ban is going to go into effect. Kindergarten through 8th grade. Do we know why it stops at 8th grade? And maybe in the future, will this extend to high school kids?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really the developmental years. I think that was the thought going into this bill. I think you could see, depending, they may come back and look at high school. But I think for now, particularly those critical developmental years, having kids off their phone. Obviously, they'll still be able to have educational devices, right? Laptops and tablets that are school mandated. But I think this just removes that barrier. That
Yeah, and it's such. I mean, it's so distracting. When I was in in school, it was you're making those little paper footballs. You're clicking that. You're passing notes. So even in a pre-digital age, kids would distract themselves. I can't imagine. If I were in school with my smartphone, I would have been a worse student than I was even back then. So I'm all for that. One other thing I want to talk about locally: Georgia lawmakers give the final passage to the state income tax cuts and rebates. What do we know about this story?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something that the legislature has done over the last couple years. Obviously, most of your listeners will have gotten some form of rebate check over the last couple years. That's going to continue up to $500 when they file their state taxes this year. And we've also the legislature has also reduced the state income tax. That's something that they've done over the last few years. Yeah, down to close, right over 5%.
Yeah.
And that's something that's going to continue. Obviously, the governor, the speaker, and the lieutenant governor have been leaders on that, and I think you're going to see that continue.
That's great news. I want to talk briefly about earlier in the show we had a correspondent on the ABC News education reporter on to talk about the dismantling of the Department of Education, because I've been really hyper-focused on that story and its impact here in Georgia. And by every indication, it seems that the federal funding that Georgia receives, it was $4.4 billion last year, is still going to come to the state, which was my hope in the beginning of this, that Georgia students, Georgia schools, Georgia educators aren't going to lose out on this federal funding.
That's right. So many functions of the Department of Education, really, it's just served as sort of a pass-through for funding. And I think that's what, as this new administration, Linda McMahon, is uncovering, it's really that department has just become bloated over the years, and it's not served its function. It's carrying out student loans. That portion's going to the SBA, from what I understand. So they're really shifting a lot of the funding, but I think all of that funding is going to remain the same. It's the sort of the bureaucracy and overhead that they're trying to.
And that when President Trump announced this, that he wanted to get rid of the Department of Education, again, my best case scenario was, okay, cut the fraud, waste, and abuse at the federal level, but the funding that comes to the kids remain in place, and that appears to be the scene. I know Governor Kemp, big fan of the teachers, and in turn, the teachers big fans of him. They're getting the They call them the Kemp checks. So I know he is hyper focused on education here in Georgia. All right, let's go to D.C. The big story this week has been that Signal app controversy. I think it's kind of dying down now. What have you been hearing surrounding this story?
Yeah, well, look, I think, obviously it was a mistake. I think everybody can admit that. It was a serious mistake and can't allow it to happen again. But I think the other thing, reality is sort of setting in is that, look, the mission was successful, right? This would have been an entirely different story if this mission had gone sideways. And so I think that's why you're seeing it die down. I don't give a lot of stock to Democrats who are clamoring for people to be fired. These people were all silent when we lost 13 servicemen in Afghanistan. No one was fired over that. So I think folks are coming back to reality a little bit on this. I think it's been a little overblown, again, because the mission was successful. It's a serious mistake, and it needs to be corrected and looked at moving forward. But I think you'll see it die down.
Was it after this was released? Was it an unforced error from the Trump administration and the cabinet heads for not just owning the mistake, apologizing, saying we're going to change protocol, moving on? To me, that would have been, in a crisis management, that's the easiest way to get yourself out of it, instead of accusations at the journalist and denying what was just, hey, we goofed.
Yeah.
We're going to check the way we do things moving forward. We apologize. I think that would have muted the story a little bit.
I think Michael Waltz probably could have nipped this in the bud a little bit better. But look, at the end of the day, obviously the president's standing by him. Again, I think this is dying down, and I think they're getting back to the actual business of the day, which is protecting the homeland and deploying these successful strikes against the Houthis globally.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think anyone's going to lose their job. And for the listeners that might have missed it, I've been pretty. I've stayed the course on this. If you go back to the prior administration, when the Secretary of Defense went MIA for a week, I called for his resignation. I said that's unacceptable. He should have resigned. I still think he should have resigned. I'm not sure that Pete Hegseth needs to resign, but I think he could have handled the situation better. And I think this does give him and Waltz one mark on their resume. Like, all right, this you stubbed your toe. Don't do anything else again.
Certainly, and there's obviously going to be, as you said, a lot more eyeballs on them moving forward, particularly from Congress. Obviously Hegseth was appointed, but by a razor-thin margin.
Yeah.
So I think he's definitely going to have to put some protocols in place to make sure this doesn't happen anymore.
When this story broke, I was texting with Eric Erickson and asked him about Signal, and he says it's everywhere in political circles, D.C., locally, Democrats, Republican. Like, that is the go-to app. Do you have Signal on your phone? Do you use it, or are you going to not use it anymore because of what's going on?
I have it on my phone. People send me some Signal DMs. I don't use it proactively.
Yeah.
I get the end-to-end encryption, but from my understanding, iMessage has that too. So I don't see the huge draw. I'm more of an iMessage user.
Yeah,
myself.
but apparently I don't have it. Maybe I should get it and just wait to
see who DMs you.
Yeah, wait to get these get added to these amazing conversations. Finally, we talked about this earlier with White House correspondent John Decker. Elise Stefanik, I feel bad for her. She really made her bones in those hearings with the Ivy League college presidents and really seemed to be a rising star. President Trump obviously agreed, appointed her to be the UN ambassador to the United Nations, and that was withdrawn yesterday. She is going to go back to Congress, but she's lost her leadership and is just rank and file. I just feel bad for her in that situation.
Yeah, I think she'll eventually work her way back into leadership and get that back. But it shows you just the importance of the razor-thin margins in Congress right now. Obviously, President Trump needs every single vote right now because the margins with Republican leadership and the Republican majority is just so razor thin. And for him to be able to implement his agenda, he's going to need every single one of those people. So I think it will ultimately be a win-win situation. I think, depending on the midterms, she could come back into the administration. So I think it'll be a win-win for both sides.
Yeah,
eventually.
I think she deserves something after the midterms to do what she did and did it gracefully to go
take
back.
guts.
Yeah, there you go. amazing stuff as always. Political analyst Stephen Lawson. Folks want to find out more about you and your services. Where can we hit you up?
Yeah, Stephen Lawson _, and I'm a principal at Denton's. So
there you go. And the best dressed cast member of the Mark Arum Show today.
A Friday.
Yeah, on any day, my friend, any day. All right, coming up after a quick break, we're going to get the latest on the tariff news in the automotive industry. But first, speaking of automobiles, where are the biggest backups now? Smile and Mark McKay.
One of the biggest, Mark, between Kennesaw and Ackworth on I-75 northbound. You're hitting the brakes as you approach 575. Take it all the way up to where right lane is knocked out with a crash. 75 northbound, just north of Wade Green Road, exit 273. Brace yourself for construction on the east side perimeter in DeKalb County between Clarkston and I-20. This likely will go all the way into early afternoon, where a left lane is knocked out both ways, 285 north and southbound at Covington Highway, exit 43. Downtown connector slowing, leaving University Avenue, exit 244, headed north through I-20. Smile and Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
When traffic
No
hits,
traffic getting through in either direction.
the Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Even the bridge over 75 is being held.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Out of Spaghetti Junction along 285 westbound and a crash on Peachtree Boulevard, 141 southbound before 285.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from My Roofer, FGA Roofing. You know, it's not uncommon to see 25-year roofs lasting only a dozen years or so. That's why roof maintenance is so important. Taking care of the things you can't see from the ground that are robbing years of service from your roof. FGA Roofing is now offering a subscription maintenance plan that'll go a long way towards making sure your roof will last as long as it's supposed to. Not only spotting problems when they're small, but professionally cleaning debris from your roof and gutters, securing flashing, adding new pipe collars, and more, including an inspection report so you know exactly what's up there. Most all leaks are covered under your maintenance plan, whether FGA Roofing installed your roof or not. I've paid more to get my gutters cleaned in the past. For roughly what you pay monthly for streaming, you'll be adding years of good-looking service to your roof. And when it's time for a new roof, you're in line for a $1,000 discount as a preferred FGA Roofing maintenance customer. Just mentioned you heard about it from Scott Slade. Just search FGA Roofing to get started.
How easy is it to save energy and money in 30 seconds? Let's count the ways. Power down unused devices. Swap out traditional bulbs for LEDs. Adjust your thermostat for the season. Change your air filter. Move furniture away from your vents. And turn off the lights when you leave a room. Georgia Power's more than just your power company. We're your saving sidekick. Get started at georgiapower.com/energy efficiency today. Ready, set, save.
Got a leaky pipe? Trouble with your AC? Ace Hardware Home Services is right around the corner with trusted pros to fix it. From plumbing to heating and cooling, we'll keep your home running smoothly all year long. Get help today at acehardwarehomeservices.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2798. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, if you've been thinking about selling your home, now is the time. With a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, now you can sell your home fast and for more than you expect. Hey, Sean Hannity here. One of the most stressful things about selling your home is not being able to control the timing. Now, Mark Spain Real Estate, they allow you to receive an all-cash offer and close in as little as 21 days. Just go to markspain.com to find out what your guaranteed offer will be. That's markspain.com, and you can start packing.
Did you know that 30% of all heart attacks, the very first symptom is sudden death? Virtual Imaging will give you a free heart scan with few minimum requirements. Call now at 770-678-SCAN or visit virtualimagingatl.com.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors.
like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pegol is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Estella's Pharma.
10:54 on a really fast-moving news day Friday. Welcome back. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. Updating the tariff situation. Joining us live from Bloomberg News. He covers all things automotive, our buddy David Welch. David, good morning, buddy.
Good morning. How's it going?
I'm on edge about the tariffs, especially the impact on automobile imports. What are the experts saying in this field about what these tariffs might do to the average cost of a new car here in America?
If the companies and their suppliers were able to pass it all through onto consumers, I mean, you're looking at minimum of thousands of dollars in costs just for those vehicles that are made here because they have a lot of imported parts, and for others, you could be looking at $8,000-$10,000 or more. Now that's if they pass it all through. It's really tough to do that right now because the average vehicle for sale in the U.S. right now, because prices are already sort of still historically elevated, is $48,000-$49,000, and with interest rates high, the average monthly payment's well over $600 a month. So it's tough to get consumers to pay that when they're already stretched because vehicle prices are not quite at all-time highs, but not too far from it. There's always a game in the background between who's going to eat this. The car companies, their suppliers, the dealers maybe eat a little bit, and the consumers eat a little bit, and economic forces try to work that out.
Reading your reporting on this, David, it seems like the lower-end vehicles will be affected most by the tariffs. Why is that?
Yeah, so you have 20 vehicles in the U.S. market for sale that cost less than $30,000. More than half of them are made overseas and will be subject to some tariff. So, one vehicle that's been a big hit for Chevrolet is the Chevy Trax. GM sold well over 200,000 of those last year. It starts at $20,500, and for that price point, it's actually a very nice vehicle, but it's made in Korea. So that's going to get the full 25%, and GM has to figure out how much of that 25% they try to pass on and how much they just eat. A lot of other vehicles too. Ford Maverick pickup truck, that's made in Mexico. That would be subject to tariffs on the parts that aren't made in the U.S. on there. So that wouldn't get the full 25%, but some subset of that. Lots of cars from Hyundai, Kia, Nissan are made somewhere else. You do have Honda Civic and Toyota Corolla assembled in the U.S. So they might get a tariff on some of the parts content there if to the degree that is imported. So those prices can go up a bit too.
And those tariffs set to go into effect next week. Kind of shocking to me that there are only 20 cars available below $30,000. I won't tell you what I paid for my first car. That's insane. That's crazy. David Welch covers the automotive industry for Bloomberg News. Great stuff on the tariff impact, as always, David. News, weather, and traffic. When we come back, we're going live to Singapore to get the very latest on the earthquake, and then to Egypt. All next on The Mark Arum Show.
Wet spots or water streaks on your ceiling, drywall, or chimney?
Your roof is leaking. Home Fix It host Dave Baker. Get a free roof analysis from my trusted experts, Finley Roofing. The roof guys. No obligation, no charge. FinleyRoofing.com. Roof.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer with experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. EmoryHealthcare.org/Winship.
When my wife and I got married after both graduating law school, we didn't have two nickels to rub together. Ultima had to give me her gas card just to drive home. We never could have imagined that one day we would have the largest injury firm in the world and $25 billion in money collected and counting. As good Catholics, we had 4 children fast. They all work in the firm today. Our family protecting yours. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. But our greatest gift was years away, grandchildren. Today we have 6 and counting. It's the greatest joy that we have ever experienced. I think about them all day long. Our family promises to protect your family should you need us. Call us. It's easy. Visit forthepeople.com and make sure you hug your grandchildren. God's final gift to us. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
First Liberty Building and Loan. They say yes to small business financing when big banks say no. It's Eric Erickson. Make a 10-minute call to First Liberty Building and Loan, and you will know if you're a fit for their program. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk. News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
It's 11 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by the Next Generation Xfinity 10G Network. This just in.
IVF will be protected and codified in our law.
WSB's Jonathan O'Brien is at the state capitol right now. He tells me the House has just unanimously voted to send a bill codifying protections for IVF into Georgia law to Governor Kemp's desk. The law prohibits future legislation from interfering with access to in vitro fertilization. Senator Ben Watson carried that bill in the Senate.
Recognizing the definition, recognizing that it is something that in the state of Georgia will be protected.
Again, the bill now headed to the governor's desk for his signature. Your weather for today, partly cloudy and warm. We're headed for an afternoon high of 80. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just over 2 minutes. And we have just been hit with a new record high for pollen. The pollen count today, brace yourself, 6,345. You're probably noticing all of the yellow haze in the air. That's the tree pollens. Those are the top contributors right now. Oak, pine, sweet gum, birch, and sycamore. According to Atlanta Allergy and Asthma, weed pollens are also headed up. They're moderate to high this morning. Dive crews joining a desperate search right now in Lawrenceville for a missing nonverbal child.
5-year-old Indy Bullock was last seen at the Reflections on Sweetwater Apartments, where Gwinnett police say he was playing on the patio of his family's first-floor unit.
This complex, there are 3 different bodies of water, so we want to make sure that we're very thorough, and we have been able to use K9 asset to also track.
Sergeant James Lawson says the child does respond to his name. Indy was last seen wearing a black shirt, green shorts, and no shoes. The African-American boy is about 3 feet tall and around 45 pounds. Authorities do not suspect foul play. Amanda Moyer, 95.5 WSB.
All right, we do have a picture of the little boy online. If you want to take a look, go to our website, WSBradio.com. We have a picture there. If you have any information, you are being asked to call 911. Now to Cherokee County, where a jury finds 2 men guilty of burglary after deliberating for only 20 minutes. 37-year-old Randolph Bush, 36-year-old William Morgan found guilty of breaking out a window of a home on Shoal Creek Road in broad daylight. They took guns, jewelry, a safe that had thousands of dollars inside, and some landscaping equipment. The two, evidently upon some of those items at a local pawn shop, they were identified by Canton police through fingerprinting. They're going to be sentenced at a later date. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is down 591 at 41,708. So the Dow's down almost 1.5%. NASDAQ's down more than 2%, and the S&P's not far behind. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Good morning.
Good Friday morning, Sabrina. Right now, not a good morning over in DeKalb County with this double construction zone, 285 north and southbound. Right around Glenwood Road, exit 44, left lane blocked both ways. The northbound delays start back at Flat Shoals. Southbound slowing right around East Ponce, so heads up for that. Just cleared up some trouble, 285 northbound. The inner loop Paces Ferry Road, exit 18 in Cobb County. On and off the brakes as you come up from South Cobb Drive. Crash in Kennesaw cleared, 75 northbound around Wade Green Road. And checking on new trouble near the airport, 85 northbound at Cleveland Avenue, exit number 76. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy today, highs in the upper 70s to low 80s, lows tonight around 60 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, mainly dry, high 81. Rain showers return early Sunday morning, drying out through the afternoon, high 75.
It is 66 degrees right now in Duluth. Forest Park has 67, and Roswell has mostly sunny skies right now and 65 degrees. We'll have more news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
11:04 on this extremely busy News Day Friday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Aram and crew with you till noon. Inflation ticks up. The Dow reacting. Down 500 plus points right now as the inflation numbers go up. We'll monitor the markets throughout the day here on 95.5 WSB. In just a little bit, we're going to go to Egypt, talk to Dr. Zahi Hawass on that news that popped last week about a discovery underneath one of the Great Pyramids in Giza in Egypt. He's going to join us in just a little bit. But right now, we're going live to Bangkok, Thailand, covering the breaking news of the earthquake there. Joining us live from Bloomberg, I am absolutely going to get your name wrong. Patpicha Tan. Just tell me how to pronounce your name, please.
Hi, it's Patpicha Tanaka-Sempipat reporting from Bangkok.
Oh, just how it's spelled. Well, thank you for your time so much on this still developing story. What do we know right now about this earthquake that impacted not only Thailand but Myanmar?
Right. So what we know so far is that the earthquake had a magnitude of 7.7, which is considered very, very strong. It first hit Myanmar and was felt across Thailand and Vietnam. It hit Myanmar near the Mandalay region at around 1:20 p.m. in Bangkok, and we in Bangkok felt it in a few minutes after that. I was in a high-rise building, and I could see when I looked out the window a building next to us swaying, literally swaying.
Did you feel it in your building as well, or you just noticed the building swaying next door?
It was happening all at the same time. I felt queasy, but I didn't realize that there was an earthquake happening until I saw what was happening outside the window, and that's when it clicked in.
Now, I know it's still early going, but do we know what was hit harder? Was Thailand hit harder than Myanmar or vice versa?
So the reports from Thailand came in pretty early, but Myanmar's reports were just trickling in tonight. This is about 10 p.m. right now in Bangkok, and we have received reports of casualties in Myanmar at 144 dead and more than 700 people injured. For Bangkok, at least 5 people have been confirmed dead, and about 80 people were trapped inside a building that collapsed. And evacuation efforts are still ongoing both in Bangkok as well as in Myanmar.
So 5 dead in Thailand. Can you tell me the death toll in Myanmar again? That was a big number.
The death toll in Myanmar right now stands at 144 people.
Wow.
And the Myanmar military government said that it is only expected to rise.
Do we, anytime we have earthquakes, in that region, they're usually shortly followed by tsunami warnings. Do we know if any tsunami warnings have been issued in the area?
So the Thai government said pretty firmly that the earthquake happened inland and there is no risk of a tsunami as the quake didn't happen in the ocean. So that's as far as we know. And the Thai government has said that it is now safe to go back inside buildings. And people are trying to go back home even now 7 hours after the quake. And it's still very hard because the traffic has been paralyzed as well as public train services have been halted to assess infrastructure damage.
Interesting. So no worries of aftershocks then if they're giving the all clear to go back inside.
The all clear came about 4 or 5 hours after the initial quake. So in between that time, the Thai government said that there had been about 20 afterquakes detected. But for now, 7 hours. Now it's been 9 hours since the quake. They said this is all clear.
Pat Picha, really appreciate your coverage on this. Please keep us posted. Doing great work for Bloomberg News. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Pat Picha Tanakasama Piat, based in Bangkok, Thailand. Absolutely the most difficult name that I had to pronounce on the show. But that's a big number. 144 dead in Myanmar, 5 dead in Thailand. Unfortunately, those numbers are going to rise. We will continue to monitor the breaking news there in Myanmar and Thailand throughout the day here on 95.5 WSB. All right, coming up in just a little bit, we're going to talk to Dr. Zahi Hawass, top Egyptologist, an expert on all things Egypt and archaeology in Egypt. But before we get to him, I want to set up this story that got me and a lot of folks on social media aflutter. This study that was released by a couple of Italians last week. I first got word of it on Facebook. And I follow this woman on Facebook. I believe she's from England, Johanna James. And she, like the algorithm knew that I would love this woman because of what she talks about, ancient archaeology, the history of man, etc. So this popped up. I'm going to play some audio here, Longoria. When that study was released from Italy last week about what might be underneath the pyramids in Egypt.
Underneath the Khafre, the middle pyramid in Giza. I can't believe it myself, but I'm going to show you. There was a press release yesterday in Italy from Filippo Biondi and Corrado Malanga. They have written a paper which has got all the results of their synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography, which is a SAR radar scan. So basically using sound waves, I believe, they have scanned deep inside the middle pyramid and all underneath the structure. And then from the results, they are able to create like 3D models of what they think the sound waves are showing. And I can't talk, I'm so excited. So underneath the pyramid, they have found 8 huge cylindrical structures that are aligned perfectly in twos. And there's 4 pairs of them, and they go deep into the earth. So this is the 3D recreation of what the SAR scan shows. So you can see these 8 cylindrical pillars that go deep down, and then each pillar is surrounded by like a circular path or walkway or tube. Okay, this is not all. This is the beginning of it. Not only that, at the very base of the pyramid, like ground zero of the pyramid in the center, they have found 5 of these kind of stacked chambers, which are identical, look like they're kind of identical in size and form as the king's chamber of the Khufu pyramid, the one next door. So these are made with huge blocks of granite, red granite that was brought hundreds of miles away to the Giza plateau and stacked very specifically in this sort of horizontal sandwich with a convex, oh my gosh, what's the roof? The roof's on the wonk, there we are. A vaulted ceiling, I'm way too excited. So 5 of them, 5 of these chambers just chilling in the middle of the pyramid, and then 8 cylindrical, massive underground structures that go deep down. And what is under that? I'll show you. So 4 of these cylindrical structures dropping deep down into the earth, they go into 2 square sort of chambers, 2 square empty spaces, which are 80 meters by 80 meters wall to wall. Each of these square chamber walls is 80 meters identically all the way around. Perfect square chambers with 4 cylindrical shafts going into them, or pillars, whatever they are, cylindrical structures, with winding, coiled, maybe a walkway. We're not exactly sure. This is just what is showing up from the scans. Oh, and I'm sorry, did I tell you how deep these cylindrical tubes go under the pyramid? 648 meters. 648 meters under the main pyramid. And then you hit the 80-meter 2 chambers, and then this is a map of the whole of the Giza plateau. So in the center, wait, I'm going to move. This here is the chambers that are in the center pyramid. The cylindrical chambers going down to whatever's going on 648 meters down here. There is evidence that there are more structures that go on for 2 kilometers underneath the Giza plateau, all interconnecting underneath all 3 pyramids. And apparently there's going to be more press releases. This is just the beginning.
The beginning. Crazy. So that broke last week. And I want to know what's going on. So I asked Deborah to get us an Egyptologist. She got the Egyptologist joining us from Egypt on the Mark Arum Show, Dr. Zahi Hawass. Doctor, good morning. Thank you so much for your time. Have you seen the study we just talked about in Italy, and what are your initial thoughts on what was released?
I did read what they published. You have to know that the two Italian scientists, they never came to Egypt. They never worked in the pyramid. They know nothing about the pyramid. And if you look at their career, they're like New Age people who create stories without any kind of evidence at all. Number one, the techniques that they use to say that under the second pyramid of Khafre, Khufu's son, 168 meters, there is 8 pillars. How any techniques on earth can show under the pyramid more than 168, almost 600 feet? How? There is no way. Number two, we do have other expeditions using techniques inside the second pyramid. They never claimed that. But the most important evidence that they did not know, that our study and myself, as an expert on pyramids, wrote hundreds of articles about pyramids. We know that the base of the second pyramid is cut in the solid rock for about 24 feet. And there is nothing under this rock at all. Listen, what they published, it's a magazine. If you pay a fee, they publish your article. I did read every word in their article. It is not true. There is nothing underneath the second pyramid, as they explained and they studied. And I'm going, and this is why I'm coming to the States in my lecture tour in May, June, and July, to tell the public in America that what they hear is not true. Their study has no scientific basis at all.
Wow. Okay. So that might have answered my next question. If there had been any research done on what might be under the pyramids in the past, so you're saying that it has been looked at before.
We did. We have, even right now, we have the Scan Pyramid Project having techniques inside the second pyramid. But what I told you, that our studies show that the base of the Khafre pyramid, the second pyramid at Giza, is made of the solid rock, nothing underneath that base at all. And how anyone can make a study about a pyramid, and they never came to Egypt. They never published a paper before about pyramids. And they came just suddenly to say under the ground, 100 meters, 300 feet. Then 100 meters, 68 deep under the ground. Why? They want to say that aliens did that. How can we believe this? This is not true at all. And there is no scientific basis on what they published.
Doctor, since you read their work and what was published, did they say what technology they used to scan under the pyramids?
Yes. They never scanned anything. They never came to the pyramid. They never worked in Giza. They never came to Egypt. They only studied some type of techniques on satellite and creating a nonsense evidence. Sorry, there is no evidence.
Since All right, that's Dr. Zahi Hawass in Egypt. Obviously not a believer of what the Italians published last week. We're going to get back to my remainder of my interview with the Egyptologist, Dr. Zahi Hawass, in just a second. But we got to take a quick break for traffic. Looking at construction delays on this Friday morning. Live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center, and Alex Williams.
Yeah, hey, good morning, Mark. We're watching it in both directions. 285 into DeKalb County, left lane blocked both ways, right around Glenwood Road, exit number 44, so you're slow there. Also, brake lights left over on 75 north out of Marietta into Kennesaw from North Marietta Parkway up toward Wade Green Road, where an earlier crash cleared. And traveling through downtown, already seeing the brake lights heading southbound from the 85-400 merge onto the connector, passing 17th Street in Midtown. Traffic brought to you by Zinchi Handcrafted Sushi. Craving something fresh and flavorful? Discover Zinchi Handcrafted Sushi, high quality, affordable, and made fresh daily. Find Zinchi Sushi today at your local Publix markets, right by the seafood counter. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
Why do you always go after the game show host of The Price is Right?
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Don't tell me how to handle my life.
Eric Von Hessler.
Or anyone else.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Is your old AC unit ready for another sweltering Atlanta summer? Probably not. Hey, good news. Mark Aaron back from my friends at Reliable. Great new deal going on right now, guys. Any size AC, just $69.99 a month, zero down, low monthly payments, and next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you $500. Any AC, just $69.99 a month. Book an appointment for a convenient time right on their website at reliableair.com and click on the schedule service button or call or text 770-594-9969.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in, we'll work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
If you've been thinking about selling your home, now is the time. With a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can sell your home fast and for more than you expect. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. One of the most stressful things about selling your home is not being able to control the timing. Mark Spain Real Estate allows you to receive an all-cash offer on your home and close in as little as 21 days. Hassle-free, guaranteed. Trust the most experienced real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Why does it matter that D. Geller & Son is Atlanta's first diamond wholesaler? Because we get first dibs. When diamonds come to Atlanta, they come to D. Geller & Son first. A bunch of diamonds that look the same on paper, but there's about 1 in every 10 that you can see from across the room, and a lot in every 10 that are what my dad calls duds. So we keep the good one, we pack the rest back up, and they go somewhere else. That somewhere else is usually a big box store that's not quite as picky. That means the same color, same clarity, and same price gets you more brilliance, more sparkle, more bang for your diamond buck at D. Geller & Son. That's what we call the D. Geller difference. So why are we so picky? We live, work, and play right here in Atlanta. So when it comes to getting you the best diamond, we have to get it right. That's why Atlanta's first diamond wholesaler became Atlanta's favorite diamond retailer. Come see the D. Geller & Son difference for yourself and find out why we've been Atlanta's most trusted jeweler since 1939. In Atlanta, Kennesaw, and Sandy Springs, online at dgeller.com.
11:23 on the Mark Arum Show. Right back with Dr. Zahi Hawass in Egypt. Doctor, when this story broke last week, kind of went viral. Everyone wondering what's underneath the pyramids in Egypt. The fact that it got so much exposure, does that concern you at all?
No, you know, I have to tell you, all my career, every month I hear a story. Elon Musk said once, aliens built the pyramid. People tell me all the time, every month there is someone come with a story about the pyramid. And I say, all this ideas goes in the garbage of history. I wrote a book called Giza and the Pyramids. We made major important work inside the Great Pyramid. Soon I will announce a major discovery inside Khufu Pyramid. And this is what I'm going to tell the public in America in my lecture tour in this coming May and June and July, to tell the public all what I discovered inside Khufu Pyramid and what I will show what we found inside. We'll not talk about theories. We'll not talk about someone who never came to Egypt to come to a crazy idea. But this is never bothered me at all. But what bothered me, how a study like this can go all over the world. I spent for the last week answering questions in Italy and South America, Japan, everywhere. I don't understand how these people published this theory so quickly to go all over the world like this. But I think they want to be famous, and they want to use the pyramid to be famous. I never heard about the scientists before. They never published an article, but one of them is a new age person, and therefore he created this theory just like anyone who say nonsense always about pyramids of Egypt.
Well, I mean, it's good that you were able to provide some insight. I'm a little sad because I thought this was a big discovery, but from what you're saying, this is a bunch of nonsense. I should mention, Doctor, your tour will be here in Atlanta, Georgia on June 14th. That's very...
I hope to invite you to come to my lecture.
Doctor, while I have you talking about the pyramids, there's been some, I don't want to say controversy, but discussion on the actual age of the Great Pyramids. Do we know concretely when those were built?
I want to tell you, 3 years ago, a major discovery happened. It's an old papyri found in Sinai. It's a diary of an overseer of a workman. His name is Merer. And Merer is saying, I was hired by Khufu to work in his pyramid. Under me was 40 workmen. We went to Torah to cut the white fine limestone for the casing of the pyramid. And the inspector Merer tells us many stories about the pyramid. We have all the scientific evidence, inscription, hieroglyphic writing to age the pyramid of Giza to 4,600 years ago, Dynasty 4. Khufu is the builder of the Great Pyramid, Khafre the second, Menkaura the third. But inside Khufu Pyramid, I have been working for the last year. We made major important discoveries that I'm going to announce in my lecture tour in the States in May, June, and July.
Very excited to have you in Atlanta. Final question. If folks want to visit Egypt now and the pyramids and all the amazing cultural attractions there, is it a good time to come visit Egypt from the United States?
It is a good time. And we are going to open the Grand Museum on July Third, the Egyptian Grand Museum will be open. Then people for the first time can see Tutankhamun. Egypt is safe and amazing. And if you want to come or any friends of yours, write to me and I will take care of them.
Love it. I will be there. I'll see you in Atlanta in June, and then hopefully I'll see you in Egypt in July. Doctor, thank you so much for your time and insight.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
The good Dr. Zahi Hawass pouring cold water on what I hoped was a really interesting theory in Egypt. I'll discuss when we come back after news, weather, and traffic.
When I think of the word deck, I think of a lot of things. It could be a deck or a screened-in porch, a Four Seasons room, even an outdoor patio. To me, those are all decks. Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. If you want to upgrade your current deck or add a new deck to your outdoor living space, you need my friends at Ben Hill Renovations. See, Ben Hill Renovations has been building decks for over 60 years. They're experts at creating decks of all shapes and sizes. They're deck experts. Dexperts, if you will. With deck season right around the corner, now is the time to put your deck dreams into motion. Contact Ben Hill Renovations today and have your deck ready for entertaining this spring and summer. Ben Hill Renovations offers multiple financing options, up to 18 months no interest, and affordable monthly payments with approved credit. Schedule a free at-home design consultation today at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964. bhrenovations.com.
Hope. It's more than a word. It's a breakthrough in the making. At City of Hope, we're pushing the boundaries of science, targeting cancer at the molecular level, with teams of experts working together to personalize a treatment plan right down to your DNA with unprecedented speed, making every second count, with appointments in as little as 24 hours. City of Hope, advancing cancer care at life-saving speed. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2798. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Rocco's European Garage. The National Weather Service says there is a high fire danger for the metro area. Any fires that develop could spread quickly. In DeKalb County this morning, crews had to put out a brush fire on the side of Highway 78 near Hugh Howell. Outdoor burning is strongly discouraged today. The high-risk fire danger in effect through 9 o'clock tonight. Now, WSB meteorologist Christine Edwards says we do get a little relief from the dry conditions this weekend.
Rain showers return early Sunday morning. That's going to be between 5 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Sunday.
And she says there is a chance of a few severe storms Monday morning, just in time for your drive into work. So remember to come back, join us Monday morning as you head off for work. Also download the WSB radio app for any weather updates and alerts as they come in. Your weather for today, partly cloudy and warm with a high of 80 this afternoon. Update on the search for that missing 5-year-old boy in Gwinnett County. This is in the area of Sweetwater Road near Lawrenceville. Andy Bullock is nonverbal and was last seen at the Reflections on Sweetwater Apartments playing on the patio of his family's unit. It was on the first floor. Sergeant James Lawson telling WSB additional search crews have been brought in today to help in the search.
This complex, there are 3 different bodies of water, so we want to make sure that we're very thorough. And we have been able to use K9 asset to also track.
Now, the little boy reportedly does respond to his name, Andy. He was last seen wearing a black shirt, green shorts, no shoes. The African-American boy about 3 feet tall and around 45 pounds. We do have his picture online. You can take a look, WSBradio.com. Anybody with information being asked to please call 911. At least 144 people killed and more than 730 injured after a 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck Southeast Asia today. There was also a strong aftershock of 6.4 magnitude with tremors felt across Thailand and in China. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. at an event this morning saying,
we have a public health crisis in this country.
This as the administration proposes changes to SNAP as the agency prepares to cut nearly a quarter of its workforce, or about 20,000 employees. President Trump set to talk with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney today. It comes as tensions rise between the two nations over tariffs. Carney saying that the old U.S.-Canada relationship's over and Canadians must now rethink their economy. Mr. Trump saying that the Canada and European Union would face larger tariffs than planned if they work together to do economic harm to the United States. Let's take a look at the markets. We're in the red this morning. The Dow's down 509 at 41,790. So the Dow's down more than a full percent. NASDAQ's down almost 2%, and the S&P's down almost 1.5%. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather brought to you by American Crawl Space Solutions. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Still watching the double construction zone over on the east side perimeter. Left lane blocked both ways, 285 north and southbound between Covington Highway and Glenwood Road. Southbound delays start right around East Ponds, and northbound delays back at Flat Shoals. Heading into town, it's slow, 75, 85 southbound. Actually, 85 southbound, hitting the brakes back at Georgia 400. Connector southbound stays sluggish, getting down past North Avenue and the Varsity. Northbound on and off the brakes, Highway 166, Langford Parkway as you pass Freedom Parkway. And 75 north in Cobb County, still seeing those delays on and off from Delk Road as you make your way up to Kennesaw. That earlier crash near Wade Green Road has cleared. Alex Williams, 95 High, WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy today, highs in the upper 70s to low 80s, lows tonight in the upper 50s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, mainly dry, high 81. Rain showers and a few thunderstorms for Sunday morning, drying out in the afternoon, high 75.
It is 66 degrees in Winder. Brookhaven has 68 degrees with partly sunny skies, and it's partly sunny and 68 in Kennesaw. We'll have more news at noon, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
If you have the WSB radio app.
All the notifications you
If
need.
you have the WSB app.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
We'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today.
Still to come, Deborah's got amazing tickets to give away. We'll update our top local stories. And is the Smithsonian about to get doged? We'll discuss next on the Mark Arum Show.
Do you drive a Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi, or other luxury European vehicle? This is Rocco with Rocco's European Garage, and we invite you to our newest location opening on Main Street, halfway between downtown Alpharetta and Milton. Come experience top-notch customer service for auto repair and maintenance at a better value than the dealership. Put us to the test and bring us your dealer estimate so we can show you a better value. So come see us at our 6th location in Alpharetta or online at roccoseuropeangarage.com.
Hot water heater just not cutting it anymore? You don't get that piping hot shower you want every morning? Hey, it's Mark Arum back from my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. Check out this amazing deal. New water heater, only $29.99 a month, and make no payments for 3 whole months. Or you can go tankless, only $59.99 a month, and you can enjoy that lovely, endless hot water. Same day water heater installation guaranteed, or they pay you $300. Get that new water heater now. Save a ton of money. Just go online to reliableair.com.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. With thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust us to bring happiness home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Spring storms can dump a lot of rain in a short amount of time, flooding your crawl space and generating mold. Dry it out with American Crawl Space Solutions, your best value for crawl space repair.
American Crawl Space Solutions. Foundations too.
He packed in the animals 2 by 2, ox, a camel, and a kangaroo.
11:37 on this Friday edition of the Mark Arum Show. 70 degrees in Midtown. Another gorgeous day here in the A. We're going to give tickets away in just a second, but I want to reflect on what we just heard from Dr. Zahi Hawass, lead Egyptologist, head of the Egyptian Cultural Archaeological Society. He's coming to Atlanta June 16th. Deborah, I'm not going to lie. I was kind of sad that he poured water all over that theory that popped up last week. I know.
I'm sorry.
I was very excited about that. Now, wait, we'll see if more information is released, but Dr. Hawass said it was a bunch of hooey, that these guys in Italy have never been to Egypt. They use satellite radar technology that wasn't reliable. They've never been published before. So I was hoping for him to come on and be like, yes, it's crazy what's going on under the pyramids. But he did say that there's going to be, they did have a discovery. He's going to announce that shortly. So I'm not going to lie. I was very sad to hear the good doctor say, no, that was not good. All right, Deborah, let's give away some tickets. What do we have today, my friend?
A pair of tickets to go check out Nelly, St. Lunatics, Ja Rule, Eve, Chingy, and a whole bunch more for the Where the Party At tour at Lakewood on September 12th.
All right, let's do the 12th caller to Vinny Bag of Donuts, 404-872-0750. 12th caller, Vinny, 404-872-0750. Win a pair of tickets to the What's Happening tour, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show and 95. It's not the What's Happening tour, Deborah. What is it?
Where the Party At.
Where the Party. That's the next tour
song.
that's coming on. All right, I teased this story going ahead. Deborah, have you ever been to the Smithsonian Museum in?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went there. That same trip, I went to the Vietnam Memorial. But the Smithsonian Museum's so big that if you spent 1 minute in front of every artifact or exhibit that they have, it will take like 12,000 years. That's how big the Smithsonian museum is. Here's the headline. President Trump signed an executive order targeting funding of programs at the Smithsonian Institution, says that they push diversive narratives and improper ideology. Here's the story from CBS News reporter Christopher Cruz in the nation's capital.
The order reveals the president's intentions to reshape the organization. He complains that there's been a concerted and widespread effort over the past decade to rewrite American history by replacing, quote, objective facts with a distorted narrative driven by ideology rather than truth. The order says museums in our nation's capital should be places where individuals go to learn, not to be subjected to ideological indoctrination or divisive narratives that distort our shared history. Christopher Cruz, CBS News, Washington.
President Trump putting Vice President J.D. Vance in charge of the effort to make radical changes to the Smithsonian's museums, education and research centers, and the National Zoo. The executive order specifically names the National Museum of African American History and Culture and the Women's History Museum, which is currently under development. The Smithsonian Institution is the world's largest museum, education, and research complex. It consists of 21 museums and the National Zoo. 11 museums are located along the National Mall in Washington. Not a fan of this at all. At all. Now, if you think that there's waste, fraud, and abuse in the Smithsonian, okay, look into that for sure. But to think that President Trump and Vice President Vance know more than the curators and educators at these museums, specifically the National Museum of African History and Culture and the Women's Museum, come on. Come on. This is, to me, a bridge too far. What's next? The Holocaust Museum? Be like, you know what? I don't believe what they're saying at the Holocaust Museum. Let's cut their funding. No, I vehemently oppose this. I mean, that'd be like Governor Kemp being like, High Museum, I don't like what they're teaching over there. They gotta, no, like what? That's not something he campaigned on. That's not the border or the economy, or that's our history. Let the historians and the museum curators handle that. I don't like that. If they're wasting money, all right, yeah, go in there, dissect the book, see what's going on. But leave it up to the museum folk to handle the exhibits and the history and that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Hopefully there'll be pushback on that. King Charles in the news today. King Charles briefly hospitalized Thursday because of side effects from his cancer treatment.
I think Buckingham Palace did not want this to become gossip or for someone to report that they'd seen the King in hospital. They wanted to be upfront, to give us as much information as they felt comfortable with, and to continue that strategy, really, of trying to be as open as they feel they can be around the King's cancer treatment, feeling that that is important for people to understand what is happening.
That was Daniel Ralph, the senior royal correspondent for BBC News. They canceled his public schedule today so he can rest. He's 76. He had that cancer diagnosis. He's going to have, I mean, I wish him nothing but the best of health, but he's got a pretty short reign, right? Like after his mom?
Yeah, compared to his mom.
Even if he lives to 90, that's going to be a short reign. And then it's William, Deborah? You're our...
William.
William, and there's no chance... It'll be William's son that succeeds
George.
William. And the other guy, the younger son, he's out, right?
Louis.
There's no chance for... No, William's brother, Andrew. Andrew, he has no chance for...
No way. No.
Yeah,
It would be William and then his sons and then Harry.
Okay. Do you remember that story I told you about a couple weeks ago out of Waterbury, Connecticut, which is about 20 minutes from where I was from? A Connecticut woman accused of imprisoning and torturing her stepson in Waterbury for 20 years was in court Friday. The stepson, now 32 years old, weighed 68 pounds when he set fire to the home last month in an effort to escape. Friday marked the second time the stepmother, Kimberly Sullivan, appeared in court this week. The man's biological mother, Tracy Velleran, came to the hearing, and she told reporters what she thinks justice in this case should look like.
That everybody that was in that household is in prison, in solitary confinement, and they could be fed 2 cups of water a day.
Oh, I mean, that's the awful story. So again, the 32-year-old was locked in a cage by his stepmom for years. The only way he escaped, he set fire to it. They had to call the fire department, and he was finally able to be set free. 32-year-old guy weighed 68 pounds, like the most wicked of all the wicked stepmoms. That was his biological mom, says they should spend the rest of life in prison with just 2 cups of water. I don't think the judge can decree that. I don't think the judge can decree, all right, I sentence you to life in prison and you only get 2 cups of water. I think that's out of his realm of his jurisdiction. A quick update on our top local story. I just checked with the news team. No update on the search for the missing 5-year-old boy in Gwinnett County. In case you haven't been following the story, Gwinnett police searching for a missing 5-year-old boy who is nonverbal. Officers searching around the area of 3400 block Sweetwater Road in Lawrenceville for little Indy Bullock. Police in Gwinnett say the boy jumped over the balcony of his family's apartment and wandered off. Police have conducted water searches of some ponds nearby and have also have aerial units searching for the boy. Canine units have been called in. Very sweet, loving boy. He really is, says Jessica Morales, one of Indy's teachers. In case you are on the lookout, the missing 5-year-old is he's African-American, 3 feet tall, weighs 45 pounds. Last seen wearing a black T-shirt, green shorts, and no shoes. So the search continues. Hopefully they'll find him okay. What adds to the difficulty is the fact that he's nonverbal. He can't speak. Canine units there assisting. Hopefully they can find out. There is a canine story in the news today as well. A new canine safety team What can you tell us about that, Deborah?
Who doesn't love a dog? Fulton County schools have a new canine safety team. There are 3 Labrador retrievers, and they're going to go from school to school. They'll be able to search backpacks and lockers. They can even sniff out firearms and other weapons. And they'll also be available as comfort animals for any students that are struggling. The new canine team's going to rotate between schools every week and provide security and companionship.
That answered my question, Deborah, because I was like, all right, canine safety dogs. You've got these Goldens that come in and can sniff out whatever, weapons or drugs, whatever. And I was going to be, because I know if you ever go to the airport and you see the canines there, you can't pet them. Like the German Shepherds, you see their handlers like, do not pet this dog. He will bite your arm. So I was worried that, but Deborah, they're going to be comfort dogs as well. That's pretty cool that they can do both roles.
Yeah, they're available for students. Yeah, because, you look at your dog sometimes and that's all you need when you have a bad day and your dog gives you that face and you just feel better.
Greatest moment of my day, no offense to all of you guys, I love working with you guys, is getting home and around 2:30, 3 p.m., a little nap I take with the pups. The pups first, then the pups. I love it. So that's phenomenal. Canine safety dogs that also double as companions. I love that. Let's expand that program. Hey, congrats to Steven in Woodstock. Deborah, he won tickets to
the Where the Party At tour with Nelly and Eve and Chingy and a whole bunch more at Lakewood.
Yeah, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show and 95.5 WSB. 11:47 on the Mark Arum Show. Hopefully traffic not too bad out there. Live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center, and Alex Williams.
Just watching the big jam in the construction zone over on the east side, Mark. It's 285 north and southbound. You got that left lane construction in both directions between Covington Highway and Glenwood Road. Elsewhere, 75 northbound, seeing some brake lights out of Marietta from North Marietta Parkway as you make your way past the 575 split. Downtown, it's slow heading southbound from the 85-400 merge, but gets better once you pass North Avenue in the Varsity. Brake lights 75-85 northbound from Highway 166. They cleared an earlier stall off to the right up around Freedom Parkway and Peachtree Pine Street. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The morning rush hour, the evening rush hour, and everything in between.
Slow spots are starting to build up the east side perimeter on 285 north.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic Center.
We've had several breakdowns, including one in the express lane.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Playing a game with your family? Fun! Playing a game with your roof? You'll lose every time. Dave Baker here with the perfect match for your roof. Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. They're the extra effort experts with upfront pricing, exceptional service, and they'll treat your home like it's their own. Win, win, win. And with Findlay, manners matter. Findlay also has 0% financing available. Get your free roof analysis at findlayroofing.com. Roof.
At Ameris Bank, we're invested in the success of your business. Our local bankers are ready to help you improve your cash flow, optimize your operating accounts, and access financing when you need it. From treasury services and digital banking to loans and lines of credit, we offer tailored solutions to help your business thrive. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. Visit amerisbank.com/withyourbusiness or walk into one of our branches today to get started. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All loans subject to credit approval.
Got a leaky pipe? Ace Hardware Home Services is around the corner with everything you need to fix it, including the expert to do the fixing. Heating or cooling issue? We've got a trusted pro for that, too. We're not just the helpful hardware folks. We're the helpful home service and repair folks, too. From plumbing to heating and cooling, the licensed and insured experts at Ace Hardware Home Services are ready to keep your home running smoothly all year long. Get help today at aceHardwareHomeservices.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-239-1749, 800-239-1749, or biglou.com.
For only a few more days, you can get 3 rooms of carpet clean plus a free hallway from Zero Res for only $109 when you mention me, Chris Chandler. This offer ends soon, so schedule your appointment now before it's too late. Schedule online at ZeroResAtlanta.com.
Is your garage door too loud, letting air in around the frame? For just $79 this month, Overhead Door Company of Atlanta will perform their 26-task garage door tune-up. Just $79 for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Schedule now at OverheadDoorAtlanta.com.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Estella's Pharma.
Happy 39th birthday, Stephanie Germanata? It's Lady Gaga. Was born 39 years old today, March 28th, 1986. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. Also in the state 48 years ago, an amazing movie won Best Picture. Rocky won Best Picture on the state 48 years ago. Sylvester Stallone wrote and starred in that movie. Quick update on President Trump having a phone call today with the new Canadian Prime Minister, Mark Carney. CBS's Linda Kenyon has more from the White House.
The president describes the call as extremely productive. He also said he will be meeting with the Prime Minister immediately after Canada's upcoming election. This call follows Trump's promise of 25% tariffs on Canadian cars and his persistent statements about making Canada the 51st state. This has created bad feelings in Canada, with the Prime Minister yesterday stating that the old relationship between Canada and the U.S. is over.
Linda Kenyon at the White House, obviously a new prime minister with some strong words yesterday. We'll see if this phone call can ease tensions and maybe tariffs. Speaking about President Trump, I believe he grew up in Queens, New York. And perhaps if you are a huge Trump MAGA fan, you might be able to buy his childhood home. What can you tell us, Deborah?
President Trump's childhood has just sold. The Tudor home is located in Queens. Now, the president himself hasn't lived there since the 1950s, and the previous owner, well, they've kind of failed to keep it up. In fact, it's become overrun by feral cats. The house has actually been on the market since 2017 with an asking price of $2 million. New buyer spent $838,000 on it.
Well, if you look at a presidential birthplace home, those eventually become part of the historical record, right? And a national. That's a pretty good investment. You can turn that into President Trump's childhood home, but it already sold. So Shelley Winter can't buy it. who is here, by the way, 8 hours before his show. I thought I work hard.
For the hot dogs?
Well, oh, yeah, he came in for the hot dogs. That's why. He did not come in there. One more story from you, Deborah. If you've ever gotten your car booted in downtown Atlanta, you know the pain it causes.
If you've ever parked in downtown Atlanta, chances are you've been booted. Well, there's a new bill that's going to help curb predatory booting. Now, they'll still be able to put a boot on your car, but right now there's not a lot of laws around it. Sometimes companies really make their own judgment, and they get paid by boot, too. Like, you'll just see them waiting in a lot and wait for the person to walk away and then go ahead and put a boot on your car. So this bill would outlaw that practice of monitoring and patrolling lots, and landlords would specifically have to call a boot or tow truck company, and they would also ban kickback payments from the booters and landlords.
I thought for a second she said unauthorized booty. That is also prevalent in downtown Atlanta. Unauthorized booty.
Longoria's fact of the day.
All right, today is National Black Forest Cake Day, and it originated in the Black Forest region of the southwestern Germany, known for its dense forest and sour cherries. And while the cake is named after the Black Forest, some believe the name comes from the resemblance of the cake's colors, black, red, and white, for the traditional costumes of the region.
That's a good cake. I do love a good. Yeah, I haven't had it in a while.
I don't think I've ever had a Black Forest.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think they're available traditionally at the Publix bakery, but maybe I can put in a request, a nice good Black Forest cake, cherries. Yeah, it's a good cake. You can't even have it, or Deborah can't have it.
Deborah can, I can.
Yeah, you could have sweet treats. You just are they tariffed?
Yeah,
good question.
25%.
Yeah, no, 200%. Who knows with the tariffs? All right, good fact of the day, Longoria. Sorry you couldn't partake in the hot dogs. Let's get some stars to the show and get out of here.
And now, are you guys ready for the Mark Aram star of the show?
I brought in donuts, so I'm getting a star of the show. Longoria brought in Chick-fil-A biscuits, and you did well. He gets a star of the show. Our buddy Axel from 97 won. They ever made 73 hot dogs. He gets a star of the show. Vinny couldn't eat them, but he still gets a star of the show. Correspondent John Decker joined us live from the White House. Arthur Jones II, ABC News education reporter, he joined us live. Dr. Zahi Hawass from Egypt on the Mark Aram Show. Pat Picha joined us live from Thailand on the breaking earthquake news. I can't pronounce her name, but she gets a star of the show. David Welch, political analyst Stephen Lawson, and Amanda Knox. And again, a big shout out, double star of the show to Deborah for getting the premier Egyptologist on the show today. That was amazing, my friend. All right, social medias are active throughout the weekend at